Theme song. This is the theme song.
Come at me, bro!
Theme song. I like singing.
My bone shield is down.
I'm gonna be auto-tuned.
Brazil fired their coach. You think that? I think
But now, when you say fired their coach, do you mean like he doesn't have a job, or did they light him on fire?
it's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Thank you to user Mesk, M-E-S-K, who sent that theme song in.
When we were doing that dialogue, I pictured it with a bigger backbeat to it than that.
You don't like the little guitar playing?
It was a little subtle, a little elevator-ish, but it's still not bad.
If you believe the user's profile, I believe that user is from Brazil. So
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
that explains his little guitar
I
playing.
love Brazil.
Do you?
And I love talking about Brazil to hot women who are from Brazil.
You're from Brazil.
Is it
Not
awesome
Peru.
to be from Brazil? I feel like it's like 20% of the people it's awesome to be from Brazil, and 80% of the people it's like really shitty to
Yeah.
be from
Let
Brazil.
me tell you something about Brazil.
Go ahead.
Let's something
It's
about
huge.
in Brazil.
Like I looked at a map of the Earth recently, and I was surprised. I was surprised at how absolutely massive
This is
Brazil
what you do in your spare time. Just like, look at a map of the earth.
Well, it's like,
My God, Brazil's way bigger than I thought.
pretty much Brazil is like a beach with some hotels, then a lot of like shanties,
Yeah.
and then like the rest of the country is like poisonous
Yeah,
snakes.
whenever I think of Brazil, I think of really hot women and that City of God movie. It's like one or the other. It's either you're really hot or you live in a shithole and are probably going to die.
Yeah.
Or you're kidnapped.
Or you're kidding. Are they still kidnapping people there? Do they kidnap people in
probably.
Brazil?
I think so. What was the thing we read
Then they kidnap-
It's
where
still trending on Twitter.
was it?
Brazilian kidnap.
Yeah, pound ransom. The what was the thing we read? Was it Mexico where they kidnapped the kid, and the ransom was to get the money, or they were going to inject him with acid,
Wow.
Oh,
I did
shit.
not
That's
hear that.
hardcore.
Yeah.
and they got the money, and then they injected him.
I guess
with acid.
usually if
Did
you
they?
oh,
Yeah.
did they really?
Yeah.
Dicks.
Well, see now for all the people in the future who want to kidnap someone and inject them with acid, their credibility is going to be ruined.
They're ruining it for everyone.
Ruining it
Don't
for
they
all-
realize it? Mexico's fucked up. This past weekend, they had a bunch of killings down in Nuevo Laredo. They tortured and then hung dead bodies from a bridge. in the
Why
city.
would they torture the dead bodies?
Well, they tortured the people, killed them, then hung
Lord.
their bodies from a bridge. So
Is this
everyone
like
could see it.
is this like a drug related deal?
Yeah.
Or?
See, I told you they keep the bodies, though.
Yeah, Michael in our Kung Fu video talked about that in war you're supposed to take the bodies and string them up.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
supposed
no,
to do
they
that.
would- they
Hold
would-
their
that-
heads on spikes.
My
Well, yeah, that too.
my dad ran a special forces camp in Vietnam, and they
What
had a
happened to you?
head. They ran a spike through the head and hung it at the front of the gate. Not my dad, but apparently soldiers in the base did that.
I'm
And they just
learning
kept
a
it
lot
there.
about Joel Heyman this morning.
Wait,
Wow.
so
Jesus.
the people on your dad's team were doing that.
Well, probably.
But your dad was the manager, right? So he had a real HR issue there.
I would just like to say I have no comment about this. That's pretty freaking bad. Am I wrong? Is it not a fundamental concept of war that you return the dead to the enemy, like that you let them collect their dead?
I don't know who plays by those games, like the Geneva Convention and all that. Who plays by that?
Yeah, that might
Does
be
anyone
that.
play by
America?
that? Well, we don't play by that. No one. plays
There's a
by
lot of rules that seem fucked up in the Geneva
all-
Convention. Like, you cannot shoot. I believe if you're a soldier, you cannot shoot at a paratrooper until they land on the ground.
That is
And
rule.
and no one plays by that rule.
Yeah.
No one plays by that rule. Why would they?
Yeah, it's like there's all these weird rules of war. It's like, oh, you get
can't
negative
get
5
me.
points. You were shooting at a paratrooper.
I mean, it's just the stupidest thing ever. Yeah, I mean, if you're in war, you want to put as much pain as humanly possible on the other side.
Time
Well,
out.
you look at stuff that's happened in the past, like World War II, right? That shit would never fly now. Like U.S. bombers flying over a city and just bombing the fuck out of a city in Germany.
Blowing everything.
Why would that not happen now?
You
Well,
really think the
because
US
the political fallout would be
Yeah.
unacceptable. But it's like
we're just going to bomb
we have the
everything in the
we
city?
theoretically have the technology now, so it's sort of like
So, if you can't shoot a paratrooper before he lands, are they allowed to shoot from the air?
No, they're not allowed to shoot until they land.
So it's like some sort of awkward stalemate until they both.
Hi, Steve.
look at each
Like, oh,
other.
it's
It's gonna land,
you
it's
were on
gonna
the
land.
ground. You were on the ground. No, I wasn't touching.
It turns into a
Time
game
out,
of,
time out.
it turns into a game of paintball. It's like,
you-
I got you, go go.
Can you throw things at them?
I just imagine a dude in like a Geneva jersey blowing a whistle and going, "You, that one, the one next to you, that guy, you're out,
You're out of the war.
It's like a
I
marshal
can't
at laser
imagine.
tag.
I can't imagine playing Call of Duty by those rules.
Yeah.
I mean,
They would just build that into the game. You'd be like, "This fucking game sucks.
it would work.
I can't shoot the guys in
Wouldn't work.
the air." Do you know that I read some stories about paratroopers in World War II? They had those enormous canopies. Do they still have those big round canopies for paratroopers?
Maybe I think they do. Actually,
What, to land on?
I guess they don't use the fancy rectangular chutes with the smoke trailing up.
I may be talking out of my ass, but I think there's different parachutes depending on what you want to do. Like a bigger parachute obviously slows you down more and is safer. But if you're like trying to hurry, you use a smaller parachute because you land faster. But I think it's more dangerous.
It seems like
If
if
you're a
you're
Navy SEAL, you just flap your arms. That's it. Wear a helmet and just jump out of the plane. But they were talking about how those things, as you can imagine, create a huge draft. I mean, they take up a lot of air.
Right.
And all the dudes are all coming out after each other. And so I read this thing about that it would be a technique where you would be above someone, essentially you'd be behind them, right? So they're falling and you're falling behind them, which means you're above them, which means you have way less air resistance. So they would end up running across the top of each other's chutes.
Yeah.
To
Big
get
trouble.
like otherwise they would go down through their chute.
That can't be real.
No, I
So
think
they're
it
like
is real.
doing parkour on each other's parachutes.
And then they would like leapfrog off of one another, like down, 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 like that to go faster.
That's crazy.
Pretty nuts, dude.
That
If
sounds
it's like
pretty
the
cool.
ultimate shake and bake. Yeah. From Ricky Bobby, to make him go faster. Yeah.
You talking about drafting?
Yeah, it's kind of similar.
We were just making fun of last
No.
week about how everyone in Russia has a dashboard cam now. I saw a video, I think it was from Russia, where a dude on a bike was drafting behind an 18-wheeler.
When you say bike, you mean a bicycle.
A bicycle. And the dude was drafting behind an 18-wheeler, and he was going about 40 or 50 miles an hour.
And he was hardly putting any effort into it. I saw that video too.
You should see it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's just casually cycling.
Yeah, every now and then
There's
he'd
no
have
air.
to pump kind of hard to make sure he stayed in the draft, but he was, for the most part, just like taking it easy.
They're going so fast, they're like coming up behind the guy on the bike, and they're going so fast down the highway. I thought, how is he holding on to the back of that 18-wheeler? Because that looked like that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was going so fast, but then they get up next to him. Nope, he's just drafting behind an 18-wheeler.
On a bicycle.
Like
So-
literally like 4 inches off the back of the 18-wheeler.
Like pedaling.
Yeah.
Pedaling.
Yeah, but I didn't think when I was on a bicycle that the air was what was keeping me from going 50 miles an hour. I
it's
just
not-
thought it was my
it-
strength.
It's in addition to less air resistance, the way the air flows, it also kind of sucks you along
so it's
and
pulling.
pulls you. Yeah.
Oh, is that true? That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Oh yeah, because it kind of like swirls around, doesn't it?
Yeah, like there's those people who do that stupid
Everything
thing
always-
like hypermiling, where they'll get right up. They'll do the same thing with their car. They'll get up right behind an 18-wheeler and put it in neutral and let the 18-wheeler suck them along down the highway. You never heard of this?
I love being
See,
sucked along down the highway.
Everything goes back to sucking. Everything goes back to sucking.
No, dude,
Every time.
What he's talking about, these what they're called hypermilers, are people who try to get every last bit of mileage out of a gallon of gas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they
Slipstreams.
like shave their
That's a
tires
bit
down.
excessive.
No, these people are nuts.
Fucking throw it in neutral behind an 18-wheeler. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fucking saving gas, honey.
Look at the savings.
Yeah.
We're going to Mexico.
Yeah, I'm fucking ordering on demand tonight. Save gas on the way home. Like, how many accidents would you get into doing that? That's crazy.
Yeah, but like there's people who try to compete to see. I think there was a group who drove across the United States, and their goal was to drive coast to coast, averaging over 100 miles a gallon. And they succeeded in doing it. Like, they had to also work out their route to try to minimize the amount of uphill driving and maximize the amount of downhill driving. So it's like they had to look at the topography and try to figure out, like, the best way to get around the country.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But get a life.
Bernie
Now you
is showing
could've-
me
so-
this video right now, and all I can think is, that is an asshole on a bike.
I know.
That is an asshole on a bike.
So I got the bright idea that I was going to start riding my bike to work.
Is that why you look really different?
What do I look really?
I just can't get over it. Like, you
hell's he
look
talking
different to me every week.
Gavin and I were talking about.
He
Like,
constantly does
last
that,
week,
yeah.
you look at him in the billion
spikes
views
like
video.
crazy.
Yeah, like the billion views video, it's like, it's Bernie and Hoodie. Now you look tanned and thin.
He really does.
He's saying you look fat last week.
Yeah, I know,
That's
fat
what he's
and
saying. You fat, pasty bastard.
I think it's the
Said
beard.
Gavin Free.
The beard
He's
trim
over
has
there.
done it as well. Sort of thinned your face.
Listen, I've had to live in this shitty body for all my life. I've learned I have never seen two pictures of myself that look the same. Like, you would not put. You could take two pictures of me 5 minutes apart. You put them next to each other. They'd say, "Why are two people wearing the same set of clothes?"
Except for all of them look like the guy from Pineapple Express.
Seth Rogen thing. I think gotta get the Seth Rogen thing and not the Jonah Hill thing anymore. That's a nice step in the positive direction.
I'm going to take 2 pictures of you and put them side by side. We'll see what those look like.
Jonah Hill's like skinny as shit now, though.
Not anymore. He was for a while, then he
Really
went back.
weird.
Then he's funny again.
I watched
He's loading
Moneyball the other day, and that is my perfect level of Jonah Hill fatness for me. That's
Yeah?
like his optimum, sort of like good enough to poke.
That's a weird. That's
You-
a weird
yeah,
thing.
that's
Because,
what-
like,
Is that a big turn on for
He
you,
was getting
Gavin?
away with
do you
it.
think he,
the
do you
way
think
his
he,
neck
do you think he
sits.
laughs when you poke him? You think that's what happens?
Yeah, it's like
We should try that.
we should see if he's up for that.
That's a great movie, though.
Money
It is a great
Yeah.
movie.
I mean,
If you're an actor and you're a little bit overweight, in his case, and it's sort of like, well, I'm going to lose weight. Does that mess up your ability to get cast?
it must do.
If you're established, yeah, right? I
You
mean,
know?
you change your identity.
That's sort of a weird decision, right?
Yeah.
Of course, that he has enough money where it's like, whatever.
You would
I'm
hope
sure-
that as an actor, you could feel like you could play any character,
Well,
regardless of what you
right,
look like physically.
I'm sure he does or can or whatever, but that's not the case. It's like,
Right, but
oh,
still, people have a certain preconception about
Exactly.
people, about actors.
fucking people.
Well, the other thing too is actors have short careers. They really do. I mean, it's not often that somebody lasts 20 years.
Yeah, it's like the
doing
NFL of the liberal arts.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I agree with that because a lot of them, just because they're not superstar status, there's a tremendous amount of working actors.
Oh, no,
that they work.
I get what you're
You know?
saying. I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. But it's hard to maintain. Let's put it this way:
To the
it's hard to
A-list.
maintain at a certain level,
Sure,
for a long period of
Sure,
time.
sure.
Very rarely do people do it. Like you look at somebody like in entertainment
Well,
in general.
you're talking about like the cutting edge. When that's the thing. When everyone thinks about successful actors, they only think about the A-list cutting edge actors.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm talking like lead in a TV show, lead in a movie. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's like they have a TV show, not they're working. They have an appearance in a show or something like that. I mean, they have their own show or they have their own movie.
Yeah.
There are
That's-
some
that's
actors who
hard to
are-
maintain for a long period of time.
There are some actors who are considered big now who have been around for a really long time who I just didn't know. They're very recent to me, like someone like Mark Wahlberg or someone.
Yeah.
But I saw him on a film like shot in '94, and I was like, he was around back then in like a main role. I didn't even know.
Well, yeah,
It
it's nice.
seems really recent to me. I
It's
don't know.
nice to plug. Did you know that Mark Wahlberg had a rap career? He was called
Marky
Marky
Mark?
Mark. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
I had no idea.
Absolutely.
Come on, feel it.
That's pretty good.
It was a huge hit. It was an enormous hit.
Because you're from New Jersey, that's like
I
they
think-
teach
I was
that
gonna
in the schools.
I was
true.
going to say the same
It's
thing,
true.
but Marky Mark's from Philly.
I
Isn't
think he is from Philly.
Yeah.
It's northeast, same thing.
It's just Mark now.
he? Yeah.
He tried to distance himself
He'll
from the
beat
Marky
shit
Mark.
out of you.
You know what was crazy?
Not like Marky Mark.
Crazy point in time too. I'm like, geez, I want to say like early '90s when an unknown Mark Wahlberg was in a movie with an unknown Reese Witherspoon called
Oh, yeah.
Fear.
Oh yeah,
Jeez,
and more
crazy.
importantly, that dude from CSI.
Was in? Oh, as
He was the dad.
I think he was like the big star of that too.
Grissom was his name.
David
in CSI.
Caruso?
No, the original CSI. The dude with the beard, the old dude.
I've never watched CSI. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, and then they
I was
finger banged
thinking-
on the roller coaster.
Well,
True, in the movie.
you have an encyclopedic knowledge of this movie.
Dude.
What else?
It's Reese Witherspoon. And then like later in the movie when like he's like fighting with her father and he's like, stay away from my daughter. He's like, all right, bitch. He like punches the shit out of himself and then he goes to the daughter and he's like, your dad beat me up. And she's like, Dad, you bastard. And he's like, no way. It's true.
That's a good summation. That's pretty much.
Earlier today, Gavin was recreating scenes from The Matrix, and now we have Michael recreating scenes from some movie I've never heard of. We should have
Dramatic
you guys
readings
do
from
like
Michael.
dramatic recreations of like monument or
We have Gav
That's
act
all I'm
them
saying.
Because Reese Witherspoon has a nude scene in that movie, doesn't she?
I don't know if it's I don't think it's a nude scene.
What was the one she does have a nude scene in?
She's really young in that movie.
You
was it the
you can't.
Little
You're
Red
gonna
Riding
say
Hood
stuff
parody
now.
that she
You're
did?
gonna sound creepy no matter what you say.
Why?
Just like try to remember nude scenes.
She does have a nude scene. in
wrong
the
with
movie.
that.
It's relevant?
No guy comes across well when talking about that kind of thing.
No, you know what? The
Listen,
thing-
guys don't come across generally well when their mouth is moving.
there you go, right there.
I definitely don't.
Guys can't get away with talking about anything. It seems
No.
like you know what though is the topic though that if I hear a guy talk about, it's immediately high skeeve factor.
What's
Are-
ski?
Skeeve? It's like a douche factor.
Like creepiness.
Yeah, I get douche chills from. Is guys who know what the age of consent is, they just know that information, and it's different by state, too.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to tell you what the age of
By
consent is.
state
Well,
and
they
by
sell
country.
cards for that.
Age
It's
of-
easier to remember.
It's
No,
creepy
it's-
in states that they don't live in.
It's
Yeah.
just creepy in general. You should not know that. You should not have that filed away in your
What's
head.
the age of consent?
I have no clue. In Texas,
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 18.
You're gonna guess
It's
18.
18.
I can
Is
look
it-
up.
is it-
You reach a point in life where
New York is 17.
like that is so far away, it doesn't matter anymore. It may as well.
Yeah, but there surely was a time where that mattered to you.
There is a ageofconsent.com. Wow. Bookmark. Let me see here. Oh, they have different ages of consent for sexual content or contact.
Oh,
and
wow.
also
Really? There's like a-
sodomy.
What the fuck?
Well, like isn't in some states, I'm a little drunk now. Isn't in some states it's just totally illegal all the time?
Yeah, I believe so.
For guy bum.
Like Alabama, probably.
I think in Texas for a long time as well.
Really?
Yeah. I think that,
See,
that might have
this goes
just
back
changed.
to like the rules of war. You know, like it's like who's playing by these rules? Is anyone playing by these
I'd
rules?
love to see the dude in the Geneva jersey blowing the whistle in the bedroom.
It's the same guy. It's the
Illegal
same guy.
contact.
She still had her parachute open.
An illegal motion there on the offense.
Gross.
This is kind of a creepy site too because it says here how to get around the laws and you can interpret them differently. This is like a legal advice site.
God.
Yowza. Okay.
That's what I want to do. I want to run a legal advice site on the internet.
We stand behind.
Do it.
We stand behind our entry that the age of sexual consent in Texas.
You know what's funny is every
is
time
17, Gavin. 17.
17.
Oh.
every
So
time
you're legal.
Every time you come to a site like this, it looks like it's like was made 1998.
You know what? I try. Oh, it's so creepy. They have a Viagra ad at the top. So creepy.
That's relevant.
But that is a
marketing.
conversation. When somebody says that in conversation, when they start talking about the age of consent, I'm creeped out talking about it right now. That to me seems like a creepy.
Well, we're having an academic discussion about the creepiness factor.
No. I mean, that's the thing. It is always an academic conversation, though. Really?
No.
Yeah.
You know what else creeps me out?
What?
Countdowns to people turning a certain age. Like
Oh,
the
God.
lady from the girl from Harry Potter.
Yeah, Emma
and then before
Watson.
the Olsen twins, they had a countdown
Yep.
to when they were 18. Creepy, dude.
Wow.
Fucking.
Yeah.
You never seen
Well, it's
that?
funny- No,
Oh, yeah.
but it's funny because this probably has obviously a whole different context from probably what they were meaning. But, you know, funny.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
That's exactly
I'm
how
sure
it
the
is.
That's
context
exactly
is
what they're
dead on.
talking about.
It wasn't on the Olsen
any
twins.
innocence
It was not on the
He's
Olsen
talking
twins
about Joel.
website where you could go and see their countdown.
You could help them
Turning 18.
celebrate their birthday. Wink.
Who was watching
Just
that
don't
countdown?
bring any mustard gas.
Jack.
And you'll be
Jack.
fine.
Because there's a difference. There'll be a guy who would look at that site and just be like, ha, that's funny. But there probably would be several guys who would literally just wait if it was near, if it was coming.
Barging in.
Holy crap, it's Ray.
Uh-oh, it's Ray. I told Ray to come in and say hello to us. Why don't you sit over there with Michael?
Yeah, you, have
No.
to sit, you guys have to talk.
Hey, look, here's
together.
a half-eaten cupcake. I don't know who ate the first half.
Hey, Ray, say
I
something.
think that's my cup.
Something.
It is.
All right, why is it over here?
How come, wait, Ray, where are you from?
New York. Queens, New York.
Okay, how come Michael has a little bit more of an accent than you do?
I have no idea.
But you have different accents, but his is stronger.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Queens is the shitty part of New York, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, it's part of New York.
It's
so
part of New
yeah.
York, so it's all pretty much shitty.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Manhattan's like the cool part.
Yeah, that's a very cool part. Yes, it is.
Bronx is the tough part.
Yeah. You want to stay away from there.
And
that
then-
stuff.
Hey, Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Well, Brooklyn what?
Brooklyn Nets. They're moving to
The
Brooklyn.
New Jersey
they got a
Nets.
whole new arena.
Are they really?
Everything.
Yeah, Chris Christie's all like, I'm fat. I'm mad about it.
Hey,
Get out.
hey, never talk negatively about Chris Christie.
just did.
We love Chris Christie.
You were really
Dude,
pissed off
he's my
Republicans
governor.
like
You
You
Joel.
look like Chris Christie.
Get the fuck out of here.
I have no idea who that is.
You maniac.
The governor of Jersey.
Governor of New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, right.
He had,
Way to
he
go,
had
Ray.
one of the craziest. There's certain things in politics that you
should
don't
know, you're
touch,
from New York.
especially American politics, Gavin. And
Teach me.
He definitely stepped all over one of them where they were talking about teacher pay. Teacher pay is a big deal. You don't fuck with teacher
No.
pay. It's like, yeah, the teachers do the toughest job in the world. They're not paid enough. And he got in front of, I guess, like a Jersey teachers union, and they were up there complaining about teachers pay. He goes, "Quit. Don't be a teacher. Maybe
Yep.
you're not cut out for it." Fuck. He was just like, "Fuck off." This is
Wow.
the governor of Jersey.
He does
It was
that.
like, holy
He's an
shit,
asshole.
this guy means business.
How did that go down?
Didn't go like they were. The whole audience was like dumbfounded, like mouth open, like this is not the way this is supposed to go. This is supposed to be a moment of reverence, and he's telling us to fuck off.
There's
Yeah.
only so many times you can be sort of like really harsh like that until you've run out of things
I guess
to
so.
be harsh
You
at.
can
It's like,
never
oh, don't do it then. Oh, don't
run.
do that.
You can never run out of things, Gavin.
No?
you can never run out of things. That's what I've learned.
Okay.
But
I don't know what you mean.
who saw what was probably the gayest RT recap so far? See it
Oh
again?
What,
yeah,
an awesome one? Which one?
that was last week's.
It was Michael and Ray.
Michael and Ray's. Yeah,
They were being,
I think we could up the gay.
Yeah, we add Gavin.
So,
you know, Michael and Ray do a podcast called The Internet Box.
oh, you do?
Yeah,
we do.
Are we
It's
going?
That plug was from Bernie, not us.
yeah.
I want everybody to remember that.
cut that out.
The one line on it is essentially it's like a shitty version of this podcast. But
That's a ringing endorsement.
it is.
Super
Is it like this podcast with
You
more
guys
cussing?
took umbrage on it to me for making fun of My Little Pony. That's never going to stop, by the way. That I make fun of My Little Pony.
That's okay.
And we actually have
every time we mention it, you just talk more about it.
We have a My Little Pony panel at RTX.
My little panel.
Do?
Really? Who's doing it? Who's running it?
doing it?
Yes.
Right there.
Hi, Joel.
What's up, going?
Are y'all going to
Hi.
adopt like pony names and?
Well, and Mike too, obviously.
That's
Also
great
join us.
branding. Are you getting any payment for that from me?
No way. Just in love
Just
and appreciation.
Friendship.
I am tired of the My Little Pony thing.
Oh,
Like, it's
dude.
kind of funny when I realised that guys liked it, and I was like, that's kind of weird, but it's kind of funny, bronies. Now
And
it's
now
just,
it's over,
now
right?
there's two bronies here in the same room that
Now
I'm
it's
in.
over.
And it's just
How's
like,
it feel?
I'm kind of tired of your accent. I fucking sit next to it every goddamn day, so why don't you shut your fucking mouth?
So it's pretty crowded over there now.
Yeah, they got 5 people in the office.
Daddy or their Achievement Hunter couch.
I know. I saw it out in what the area formerly known as the dungeon.
You guys should get bunk desks.
To be fair, there was this
We
big
discussed
plan.
that.
There was a big plan to like move Jack and Jeff's desk around and move a table to like refit the couch back in. And then when they realized they had to move stuff, that never happened.
I was just who's in charge of that?
Yeah.
That was Kara's idea, actually.
Okay.
He's like, all we gotta do is move it like 6 inches
Because that's
this way.
because Kara
Jack's
comes
like,
in there
no.
and sits on the couch all the time, and she's pissed that the couch is gone.
Yeah, well, she can stand.
How nice of you.
Oh, well, you know.
You can also just go find the couch and lay on it. That's what I did.
It's also true.
Joel did do that. We used his sound booth the other day. Now, we've had this like weird musical office thing going on where now, essentially, after moving everyone in the company, all it worked out as net is that Joel and I switched offices. That's it.
Yay!
Yeah, although I took a much longer path.
and how long did that take?
Well, no offense, you ended up with a much better office too, because now I'm in your old like blank office with your shitty sound closet that now I have to fix up.
No, I remember because it was funny, because when we moved into the building, you were like, hey, Joel, look, here is all the styrofoam that we just ripped off the walls from the last office.
Right.
Here, go ahead and use this. I was like, oh, this is all destroyed and whatever. But it's okay. I'm going to make the best out of this situation. And I went ahead and glued that motherfucking pieces back together and fucking stapled that shit back together, put it on the walls, and then I was like, oh, it looks pretty good. And then Bernie goes out and buys all new shit. Yep. And then redoes his office. So I'm like, you motherfucker. And now the irony is that now I have it.
Now I'm in
And he
it.
has my shitty
You won.
put together.
It was your long play.
You won.
That was my long play.
How do you explain then that for your sound closet you use the shitty broken headset with like a microphone on it that's now missing, and like they're the most uncomfortable set of headphones I've ever seen in there.
It's
duct tape on it.
We have a bunch of gremlins at this company, and they find equipment and they take it and they move it around, and I don't know.
In particular-
like the big green tub in the thing. I don't know where that came from.
Headphones will fucking disappear.
Yeah.
Hey, you're making
I don't know,
kind of
give
telling
them-
a funny story, but it's absolutely true. People come and actively fuck with your technology.
I feel bad because I yelled at Kathleen the other day.
Did you really?
Yes, because you guys come into my office and you leave 27 cups of water sitting on $10,000 debug kits.
That's not
You
good.
do it every single time, and I just had like a freak out where I'm like, "Get those cups of water with the debug kits."
You have
and
it
no one listens. Every time you come in, it's like, "Wait, Joel, we need to come in and put cups of water."
I can absolutely guarantee this, me, because I carry this cup around all day long.
It is true. You
I
love
never.
It's
that
true. You
cup.
bitched about it when I was drinking that out of that cup during the podcast. It's
my
many months
fucking
ago.
cup,
He's like,
dude.
"It's my
Spoilers,
fucking
bro."
cup."
But you're lucky
Put your
now.
name on it.
You're lucky that all your debug kits are locked away. Because in the old office, we
Well,
used
no,
to play
they're not
Kung
locked
Fu.
away. They're
Right?
sitting
No,
on
they are
the-
very securely locked away in an undisclosed location.
Yeah, next to cups of water. But anyway,
So
What's wrong with my throat?
I actually kind of feel bad because Brian and Nathan were sharing Joel's old office, and we moved the guys from the bullpen, which if you've watched the Archie shorts, it's that open area with the steel tables upstairs. Those guys got moved over to what we call backlot, which is like our new building next door. Nathan, they decided to move Nathan and Brian out of their office and put them in the bullpen area so that I could have an office. I didn't ask for that, and they just made this decision that I needed an office.
Don't admit that here.
Well,
on
you
the
just-
podcast.
Well, what do I do? But I feel bad. Like Nathan and Brian shoot me dagger eyes. I don't even use the office.
Maybe you
They're
should talk to like the
Maybe you
head
should
of the
just
company
give them their
about it.
office back.
just
Bernie's like, "There's
I know
nothing
what
I
you
can
can
do about it."
Everyone that's at the backlot
say-
now, move them into that office, and you just take the backlot.
What you should do is you should make two dummies, Brian and Nathan, and just sit them in their exact configuration where they used to be.
I'm afraid if I made like a dummy mannequin version of Nathan, I would could get confused with the real one. And I would never know, I wouldn't know which one to shoot at the end of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, Nathan moves so little as it is and never talks.
I've known the guy for like 7 years, and I think I've heard him say 5 words.
He doesn't talk.
Doesn't talk a lot.
He is, still waters run deep, you know?
Exactly.
And then it's like then when he talks, everybody listens.
Yeah.
Like Nathan starts talking.
true.
What's it going to be? Get that big, like, Nathan
It's good to have someone like that in this office, honestly.
No, it is.
Well,
Because
everyone in
we're
this
a bunch of
office,
fucking lab mouths.
like, look at this podcast. Everyone in this office loves to fucking talk.
It's true.
It's good to
Gavin.
have one guy who doesn't.
It's true. It's true. He's on the podcast right now. He's been on the podcast at the beginning, but no one knows about
Every
it.
episode.
He's sitting right there. He just doesn't want to say.
I also would never move the guys out of the annex and be there alone, because that would mean I have to move Chris. And probably the greatest joy in my life right now is working next to Chris. And I never had done that before. And he is endless entertainment. Like
Chris is great.
the other day,
yeah.
he's eating. He has a little can of nuts, and he's eating them. And if somebody's eating something, I always
Like a
want
squirrel.
a piece of it. Yeah. So I said, "What are you eating?" He goes, "I'm eating walnuts." I go, "Walnuts? Why are you eating walnuts?" I had walnuts since like I was 6 at my grandma's house.
Let's be fair. You've had. I mean, if they're covered in chocolate, you've had.
I probably have had them, yeah. But I go, "Can I have one?" He goes, "Sure." And so he gives me one. I eat it, and I ask him, I go, "Do you like walnuts? Like, are these like your favorite kind of nut?" He goes, "Yeah, I like walnuts a lot." And I go,
damn
"Can
it.
I have another walnut?" He goes, "Sure." And he gives me another one. I eat it, and I go, "So, like, you prefer walnuts to any other nut that there is?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Do you know that what we're eating is called almonds?"
So he was eating like a tub of almonds. It wasn't even like mixed nuts or anything.
No, it was just straight almonds in a can, like one of those short ones.
Was it mislabeled?
What was on the can?
I love those guys. I love those guys. But God, they don't know anything.
That's what I said these are almonds. He looks at the can, he looks at the almonds in the can, and then he looks at the side and he's labeling. He goes, "Almonds." I mean, I can understand not knowing what a walnut is, because that's kind of a rare. You know, people eat walnuts, but to not know an almond on site.
No. Walnuts are not rare. Don't give him that out. That's fucked
I do
up.
not know
That
what a
is
walnut
wrong.
is.
I mean, almonds are like
Fucking almonds.
I'm going to say.
Yeah, almonds are fucking like served peanuts.
This is almost like an RT Life thing. You should present a spread of fruit and nuts to those guys and be like, "What's this? What's this?" Like,
Please do.
not even stuff that's too weird.
Guys, here's
like
the
that
crazy
over as
thing
well.
about it to me. He's eating it. He's putting it in his mouth. He's chewing it, swallowing it, and he doesn't know what it is. I think I'm 100% lifetime on knowing
You know,
what
I can understand. No, I can understand though, because all nuts fall in the same category, and that's taste like shit. They always, I mean, they all.
Conceivably, he also bought this, didn't he? I mean, this is something he went to the store, he purchased,
Sought
he
out.
is eating,
That's a good point.
and he thought he was something else.
Sought it out.
He was like, "I'm going to go to the store and get walnuts."
Almonds, this will do.
So another thing that happens is because we just moved over there, we don't have things. Like, we're over there, we're like, "Oh crap, we need a printer," so we don't have to walk back over to the main building to print
It
stuff.
would be the same process for us, basically, because that's what the process is for us. When I am upstairs and try and print something,
Yeah.
I just wind up walking the distance
Sure.
between buildings anyway.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Basically, I was like, "Oh, we need a shredder. Oh, we need trash cans." Like, we're realizing all this stuff because we're over there. We need these certain things. So I'm over here in the main building, and I walk out to the break room, and there's Chris standing at the microwave, like punching in and microwaving something.
Poor Chris.
And I said, "You walked all the way over here to microwave something?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, I guess that's kind of long." I guess, "Yeah." I go, "We should get a microwave for the other building." He goes, "That is so weird." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "I just said that to Brandon like a minute ago." I was like, "Is that wow? Is that a coincidence?" Because you were walking over here to
The same
microwave-
set of circumstances led to the same analysis. The problem,
His eyes got so big, guys. He was like, "This is the weirdest thing. What a weird coincidence."
What I like about Chris is that
I like imagine him at home later with like pictures on the wall drawing red lines between all.
this means something.
I feel like every interaction I have with Chris is like I'm meeting him for the first time. It's like I should end every conversation with like "Yeah, I'm Gavin. Nice to meet you." It's just unbelievable.
This week's animated adventure, I don't know if y'all have seen it yet, is Chris and Brandon moving the furniture out of Bernie's house. It's turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it was when I moved out of my house. They helped me do it, and they did a terrible job. Jordan, the guy who makes the animated adventures, he couldn't even animate the whole story. Like, he didn't animate them breaking all my speakers.
Yeah.
But I have to say, He's got a weird vision, Jordan does, because when I show up in the cartoon and I see the room, that's exactly what the room looked like. I mean, it's just crap scattered everywhere, and holes in the walls.
Well,
I'm pretty sure if you go back and look at the animation, it's like a line with a speaker.
You can credit yourself. You probably did a fantastic job of describing the scene.
I don't know, man. Jordan's got something special going on. That guy can take a funny story and make it 10 times funnier, man.
So I'm going to change the subject here because I see this stuff, and I want to talk to Michael about this. The other day, someone from the site sent us a gift, and it's like this. I don't even know what it is. It's like this super concentrated coffee. It's from this place called Funranium Labs. It's
Sounds legit.
It's called
Funranium?
Yeah, it's called the Black Blood of the Earth, and it's a super concentrated coffee.
It's made out of walnuts.
And I wasn't sure if it was legit or not, so I emailed the guy who makes this stuff, and I was like, "Hey, what happened?" He's like, "Oh, someone bought this and sent it to you as a gift." I was like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "By the way, that stuff I sent, one of the things was called Death Wish. No one should drink more than 50 milliliters of that a day, which is about 1.6 ounces." So I told Michael this, and how much of this did you drink in that one day?
That probably half that bottle, which is 750 milliliters.
So you drank about 375 milliliters
Yes.
of this when they told you not to drink more than 50.
Well, you told me. They didn't tell me.
How did you feel after that?
Very awake.
Did you sleep that night?
Not easily. No, there was much stomach pains later
Really?
on in the night.
Really?
Oh God.
Yeah?
It flowed like a river.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was honestly a little concerned for his safety, so I looked up how much caffeine it would take to kill you, to get like caffeine poisoning, and we figured out how many milliliters would probably kill him.
Right. Gus walks in the room. He's like, how much do you weigh? And I was like, about 150 pounds. He's like, all right, I thought so. All right, it's going to take this much to kill you.
I've done the math.
Yeah, and then we did the math, and as long as I didn't drink both bottles, I was good.
Yeah, you could drink one and you'd be fucked up.
Oh my god!
But if you started drinking the second one, you'd probably
I
die.
don't-
Only
half.
2 bottles could kill you.
No, it was only like 800 milliliters or 900 milliliters, something like that.
So if you found out that 2 of something
That's
could
a
kill
great-
you,
I would not
Gavin,
drink one.
You would not drink
I
one.
would absolutely not go half.
I didn't go half, I went a quarter. I drank half of one.
He did go a quarter.
I just wouldn't. If I found out 2 of anything could kill me,
Well,
I
I
would
had the
not
last
eat
cup
any
this
of it.
morning, by the way.
Like, how many beers do you think it would take to kill you?
A fucking lot.
Me, not
Yeah.
many.
Well, it depends how much you weigh, too.
10.
Does it really matter how much you weigh, or is it
would
just
think so.
does tolerance affect your toxicity levels?
I would think
too?
so.
I almost said that word right.
I think the more you weigh, the more it takes to raise your blood alcohol level.
Dude, I guarantee I could open this beer. Joel's drinking beer again, by the way. I could open this beer and drink it and have a buzz at the end of this beer, and I outweigh everybody in this room. I'm 220, so
Well,
I guarantee
I'd be curious to see what all of us what our blood alcohol levels are
Let's do
after
it.
one beer.
I remember,
to see how much.
the first packs. This was great of you. The first packs you brought a breathalyzer.
No, that was in New York.
no, it was packs.
I think it was Lincoln Center.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was Lincoln Center.
Yeah, because we got.
I get the
it was New
I get
York.
the coasts mixed up. You brought a breathalyzer.
I did.
and that was great. And it was like you brought the breathalyzer, and you're like, okay, whoever gets the highest breathalyzer score wins.
That is such a perversion of that technology.
And
It's meant to protect you.
Why
from-
do you do
we
this to
drank
people?
we drank
Awesome.
like crazy. And we got to the point where we were pretty fucked up. We were like, man, we just can't get over 0.08. No matter what we do, we cannot break the
Everyone could try.
0.08 barrier.
What do you
No.
think
Then we realized, oh shit, it does not measure anything above 0.08. It just wants to let you know when you get to the point where you can't drive anymore. And then stop.
it wasn't. We
Everyone's
can't
like 4.
get above 08. It was we can't get above 08.
Yeah, we're yelling
Let
at the
him go
handheld.
above, Shouldn't it go above so you know, like, how drunk you are? Like,
Yeah.
I need to be a little less drunk.
I think they specifically limit that so that people don't do what we were
Yeah.
doing, and it said it all.
Obviously,
over the
I mean,
back.
obviously it didn't stop you.
If I ever get married, it's going to be the party favor. It's breathalyzers.
Breathalyzers.
At the,
That are unlocked breathalyzers.
There you go.
Unlike that of black keys.
They've been jailbroken.
Yeah, but I mean that was.
that's the one app an iPhone doesn't have. Breathalyzer.
Breathalyzer.
We need
Are you sure?
I knew a dude who, when I lived in Houston, I knew a dude that had a breathalyzer attached to his ignition in his car.
Yeah, like
You
an
need
immobilizer.
you need to drink more. Yeah.
He had to blow
Right.
to drive his
That's
own car.
fairly common with people who get in trouble. Yeah.
That also is dumb.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's dumb. Because you could just call your friend.
No.
"Come and blow in my car. And there we go."
I know someone who had that as well, and I drove with him a few times, and he needs to blow in it to start it, and then while we were driving, occasionally it would activate again, and while driving, you would have to blow into it again.
Oh my god! Otherwise,
What?
Otherwise, the car would shut off.
Nightmare, pain in the ass piece of shit that thing is.
I would argue
How many accidents would that cause?
that if someone calls you drunk to come blow in their car so that they can drive it, that you are not that person's friend. That's not the definition of a friend. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're too drunk. Let me get this one for you.
Can you blow in my car?
Let's get you going on the road.
and here's a bag of breath for you to use later. Just squeeze.
There's a balloon.
That should get you home, buddy.
That would be awesome.
Surely that would work.
That's a great scene in the movie.
So when are we testing this?
Cop pulls you over and you have a bag seat filled with balloons.
I'm a clown at school.
Like the cops.
You'd have to like wear the makeup all the time to sell the story.
Oh my god.
So speaking of donating fluids and gases, I did that 23andMe thing.
Oh yeah. The thing I
you
talked
did
about.
it.
What is that?
I set it
don't know
off.
what that
It's Gus talked about it before. It's where they send you a vial. Joel's going to pick this apart immediately.
Oh.
They send you a vial, and you go patooey, and you spit in it. Which you have to spit up to a certain level.
I didn't think you were allowed to send like sputum through the post or whatever.
That's a good point.
Sputum?
I
Beautiful,
don't.
what a great word that is.
You can't send blood. It says that on FedEx packages.
I don't think
You can't
spit is considered a biohazard, and I think it's
Well,
biohazard.
considering like you lick envelopes.
So how long do you have?
Man, you make a good point.
complicated issue.
It's not that complicated.
So the thing is, like, you have to spit up to a certain level in this vial, and that vial makes you very self-conscious about the amount of saliva in your mouth.
Yeah,
because you look at it and you're like,
if you become like, it's gross. Like if you, I don't know.
no, you look at it and you're like, oh, I can fill this up.
In one spit.
oh, I
No.
can fill it up.
So you're there just like going.
Okay, so you
don't hawk loogies into it. It just has to be saliva.
What's the difference? Bubbles?
Just get a big greenie.
All right.
It
So
actually,
you send a vial.
it actually discusses in the instruction the bubble aspect of it. Like it has to be the fluid level up to a certain line.
Oh my god!
Are you doing it right now?
So that was
All
Gavin.
right. All right. So what's the point of this?
So then you send this vial with your saliva off to a lab, and you register the vial with a barcode, and then they give you your genetic makeup. Like Gus found out he's part Moroccan as part of this.
Are you?
Yep, my father's family, I guess, is apparently from North Africa.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I'm doing this. $200
job,
bucks.
Gus.
It's $200 bucks if you want to do it, and then they also give you some percentages of like you're more likely to develop
Well,
diabetes.
no, you guys.
Yeah.
Knowing you guys, aren't you scared to death that that's somehow going to seep into the government? They're going to have a file
I
on you.
did think about
I am
that.
I
did
yes.
think about that quite a bit.
Well,
Or even worse,
you got
it'll,
over it.
It'll seep out to like an insurance company,
It'll
and it'll
insure-
affect your
Absolutely.
rates. So like, oh shit, this guy's gonna die of shit.
yeah, they're going to know. You're like,
Damn
you're not
shit
going to
disease.
live past 64. They're going to stop insuring you at like 50.
so Bernie, how long are you going to live?
So I don't know yet. I'll find out in 2 to 3 weeks. But there was
But you
actually
did it. So you
you're,
sent it
you're
off.
right though, Joel, because I think we might have talked about this before. They asked me to participate in some. This is very bizarre. A thing with the space shuttle program, with the ISS and the space shuttle program, where they were asking people to donate blood to then get a genetic code to then put the genetic code on a flash drive, like a flash thing, and then they took that up to the ISS and stored it there in case of like some. It's like
So someday in the future, you're going to wake up in a room full of aliens.
I didn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I didn't like.
You don't want your blood in space.
I don't want my genetic makeup going up into space. Like he's right.
Come on,
Fire me
you
off.
don't really care about that.
I don't give a
I
shit.
absolutely do care
What's
about
going to
that.
happen to it?
Do you know
in
what-
your lifetime?
Do you know what Voyager is?
The TV show?
No, Voyager, the satellite that the U.S. sent up.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Is it a satellite? Is that the proper?
Yeah, it's a satellite.
It's
It's
a
a top
satellite.
Isn't that the one that
Yeah.
went really far?
It just
Yes.
we sent it out
Like
of the
it's
solar
past
system.
Pluto at this point.
Yeah, we sent it out of the solar system, and it contains when you open it, it contains like diagrams of how to find Earth, and
Along with
shows
instructions on how to blow it up.
At the end of the space, turn left.
like yeah, exactly. Go to the hit the sun. You've gone too far. Yeah, and then it shows like diagrams of people in there as well, like a man and a woman and all this stuff. I think that's a terrible
Yeah.
fucking idea.
Why is that? Don't be ridiculous.
Because then they're like, oh look,
It is
those
a
things look
terrible
delicious.
idea. Let's do
nothing
it.
there.
All right,
It's like getting a map to the grocery store. Those things look delicious. Where do I get those? Oh, right there. Shit, that's right down the street.
At the end of the day,
It took like
No,
40 years to get it out
All right,
there.
For us.
Shut up.
For us.
Shut up. At the end of the day, you have to measure the benefits versus the possible negative repercussions.
Benefits.
Right.
Alien shit.
Benefits. It's a funny story to tell people.
A funny story.
Okay,
What?
Let me.
What the hell does that mean?
It's not going to serve any use out there, is it? There's bugger all out there.
Well, that's the kind of the point, Gavin.
You really
in case
think that?
there is something out there.
What, outside of our solar system?
Yeah.
What are the chances of having life in the next
about
solar
to say,
system?
the chances that we have it, dumbass.
Jesus, hold on, guys, hold on.
I am in a
Every time, hold on. Every time somebody says something, everybody yells over the top of everybody else. We either need to bring less people in this room, or we need to stop doing that.
Fervor.
It's every time somebody says something.
No, we're very excited.
Sorry.
No, we're very excited.
You cut that.
Very excitable.
It's funny because when we had the breathalyzer test in Lincoln Center and we played poker that night, you said the exact same thing you just said now.
Did I really?
Yeah, you did. You're like, listen, guys, everyone is having too much fun. And they're going to hear us in the next room. And we're going to have to calm down. You know?
We just need to make sure that the people listening can hear and understand what we're talking about.
We have to be peeking every time.
I'm constantly on the board this episode.
Have we gotten complaints, though?
No, this one's bad. Like I can't understand what's being said in the headphones. I mean, I'm just saying if you
I
don't,
can't understand what you're saying in life.
No, it's not you. It's everyone as a group, Joel. I'm not picking on you in particular.
So the satellite keeps going.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it takes 40 years for us. It can take longer, and it's going to go forever. Conceivably.
Well, here's the question. Okay, I can't even. Okay.
You know, it'd be funny too. Like if there's a point at which we want to get it back. Like we realize,
Oh, shit, my contact lens is on that.
I left the iron on.
this was a bad idea. We should not have sent this thing out.
Oh shit! I left my gold record in there.
So I got a record on it, right?
Yeah, it's got a record.
What's the song?
Oh, I don't know.
There's a song on there.
Anyway, sounds of Earth on there.
Anyway, my point is that the distance between our solar system and the nearest one is so far that none of us will ever experience what the purpose of that
Well,
is.
probably, I guess the satellite will probably degrade before anyone discovers it.
That's it.
You're assuming it has to get to a planet,
Right. You're not assuming someone else finds it.
There you go.
Well, just
can't someone
happens
come
be
to it? Yeah.
Strolling right next to our solar system, or all of them.
Yes.
And just like, what's
Well,
this?
is
Instead
that-
of going straight for the solar
It is-
system,
it
they
is-
find this
it is-
floaty, tiny...
Is it
little-
possible?
But I mean,
Yes.
it's like an artificial. I don't know.
It's just
Why is that not possible?
It would not happen.
Why
It's
not?
absolutely stupid. And you're stupid.
I want to punch you in the face.
And even like everything in the satellite is all mathematics, which is supposed to be like universal. That mathematics are universal.
I can buy that, except for our limited.
I don't believe that.
It gets to a point where math fails.
There was an
right?
interesting twist on that.
Math fails. Math. I don't. If people say math is universal, math is not universal.
What do you mean?
What
Numbers?
do you mean? What I mean? Yeah, it's not universal.
How many of these do I have in my hand?
No, I'm just saying there's an analog component to life.
It's
There is. Like, for instance, fucking two 18-year-olds. It's not the same thing as fucking one 36-year-old.
Well, here, I'll tell you this. Our entire
I gotta make some calls.
Still stuck.
at a low level, math is all the same. But you think about it. Like, think about how we count. We use base 10 numbers because we have 10 fingers. Like, our entire counting system is based on the fact that this is how we can count easily.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I mean, that can change. Like, other people... Like, there's different bases and you can convert.
I mean, doesn't it? I mean,
there are so
I don't know,
many-
Basically, the assumptive unit of one, right? That's where you have to start.
yes.
I don't know.
Conceivably, that could be the lowest possibility. Either existence or non-existence.
Right.
But we have like numbers we use in everyday life that are way higher than.
Right, but the
Way higher
entire
than
base for the system is set on 10.
Yeah.
And then everything else is just an additive onto that.
You look at Gavin's face. Yeah.
But Mass Effect had an interesting twist on that, or Mass Effect 3.
More like
where
Math Effect.
The Protheans built all these artifacts to let people know what happened, but the communication had changed from one civilization to another.
Yeah, we talked about it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they wanted to communicate the way they knew how, which they assumed everyone did, and then when it came our time to receive the information, we didn't communicate like that. It's just impossible.
Same thing with Voyager. I mean, we assume the people that find the satellite are going to be able to see,
Right.
right? And see the pictures.
It's you.
What?
Nothing will come of that.
We're just talking.
Probably not.
I
Gavin.
think
You're
that
a
it's,
real piece of shit.
Yeah, but they're worried about putting genetic material on one. It doesn't matter.
I generally agree with you because I think it's a waste of money.
It's a waste. Well, people had money back then, didn't they?
Voyager was worth the entire cost of the project, in my opinion, when they made that. It was Carl Sagan that convinced him to turn the satellite around. Was it Voyager?
Yeah, take
right?
that picture.
Oh,
yeah,
Take
right,
a picture
right,
of
right.
Earth from like
Yeah.
at the
Oh,
end
yeah.
of the solar
And it's
system.
just a little dot.
Yeah.
That makes you feel like insignificant, dude. Insignificant.
We got to bring back Carl Sagan. We got to get his genetic information.
We should have sent him to space.
We should have just tied a rope.
We
to
should.
it.
If we had, if you I just had to look at a spool, like spooling it out like a kite.
Like, what is stopping us from like tethering the moon? Like, why can't we just chain the moon?
Why would we want to do that?
The like heat and velocity for
But then you could
starters.
climb it. You could like.
No, you're not
It's
climbing.
only 250,000 miles away.
No,
right?
no.
By the way, I realized everyone talks over themselves when Gavin says something fucking retarded like
That is absolutely true.
Why don't we just tether the moon? It's like,
Are you turning into Carl Pilkington?
what the fuck is wrong with
It's just,
you?
but it would be
Okay.
cool.
Why would it be cool? What would we get out
Like
of
an
that?
elevator to the moon.
Okay, now you're talking about a real thing. A space elevator would be actually a useful thing.
Is that a science fiction thing where they?
No, it's like a
Well, I
future-
mean,
future
technically
tech.
it's science fiction because it doesn't exist.
Does the moon go forwards and backwards? Is it-
Well,
Okay,
yes.
distance.
Whoa.
Yes.
It
The
does.
distance, of course.
Oh,
Does
is
the
it?
moon do what?
Does its distance from us
the
change?
distance between, if you're going to actually measure it in real terms,
Yeah.
with like a rope,
You
know,
put
from
some
like
slack
the
on the
moon
road.
to the earth. Well, you could have some slack on the earth, but it's like, I mean, you think about the temperatures it has to deal with, the extreme colds, the extreme heats, everything else. I mean, what the fuck is that rope going to be made out of?
Plus, also cutting through the atmosphere.
Cutting through the
I mean, look at the
atmosphere?
space shuttle coming back in and
amount of-
burning
Yeah,
up.
but that's coming in at tremendous speed. A rope
there's
is
no,
just
there's
sitting
no
there.
heat in the
It's
atmosphere.
not just
Right,
sitting
but it's
there.
the
Think about it,
friction
it's
hitting the
constantly
air.
moving.
Yeah, but it's moving along the same plane that it's through the atmosphere. Like the Earth turns.
So you're viewing every...
The moon is not stuck in geosynchronous orbit over the Earth, so it does move.
It doesn't
Additionally,
match the Earth rotation.
What do you mean it does move?
like the Earth is here, then like the same part of Earth is not always facing the same part of the moon.
Yeah, but you could do one of the poles where it's pretty much not going to be turning, isn't it?
But then the Earth has a tilt on its axis.
Right.
Right.
The Earth isn't perfectly straight. It's tilted like that.
As
Yeah.
an example, we just went through a thing called the supermoon, where it's at a different point in the horizon, where the light reflecting from the sun off the moon hits our atmosphere in a weird way. It makes the moon look enormous.
I'm pretty sure supermoon is not the official
You know,
term.
if-
That's how everyone
If Gavin ran NASA,
We'd be fucked.
Yeah,
everyone, we're going to cancel this space shuttle program. We have a new program.
We're going to hire a giant cowboy
We're
to
gonna
lasso
get-
the moon. Additionally, I think the orbit of the moon is in decay, and it comes slightly closer to Earth.
No, it doesn't. That's bullshit.
It's very
everything,
minimal.
everything is decaying. Like the days, you have to put a leap second on every 18 months, I think, or something like that, because the Earth's rotation slows down.
A second every 18 months. I doubt it's that much.
I think it is.
No.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other
When you
thing.
think about it, if you're adding a day every 4 years.
But
Well,
that's
that's
not.
just from-
That's
that's
just
just
from
That's
the
too
calendar
much.
point of
That's
view.
too much.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about decay. You're
That's
right.
like
because the
actual
Earth
slowing speed.
is actually a quarter of a day extra every
The
year.
Earth is also expanding.
The
Did
Earth
you ever
is
see that
expanding.
simulation of where the continents used to be on a smaller Earth? Because we're always taught at school that it was all one big lump of land.
You talking
that
about Pangea?
Yeah.
That's
Thank
a
you, Ray.
reference
And
right
it just
there.
split, just for no reason, just split.
Well,
away. But it makes sense that it was all wrapped around the Earth, and the Earth expanded and it split because of that, as opposed to it just cracking and moving around the planet. And that makes more sense. And there's loads of like scientific evidence
so
to prove
the
it.
Earth is expanding?
The Earth is slowly
in
getting
mass?
bigger and slowing down too, in terms of its
So we're all dead.
will be.
Not
So
yet.
what is
We'll
the
be fine.
point of putting a rope?
Back to this for a minute.
I just like the idea of like having something in space attached to the Earth. Maybe not the moon. Maybe
Like
that's
on a
not-
leash?
Yeah, just so you can like just so you can just tug it and see like.
Just if anyone comes by, they know that's ours.
There was a
Don't
cool
touch
story.
it.
Like just moving stuff with your hand on tremendous scale is interesting to me. Like I think it was someone told me a story how they used to work in a shipyard and they would park these gigantic ships next to each other to the point where they'd be like, you know, a few inches apart. And what he could do was he would put his hand on the side of one ship and touch the other ship and just squeeze. And in about an hour, he could move
With his mind.
he could move the ships towards each other till they touched. And they weigh like tens of thousands of tons or whatever. But you can do that because they're floating on water and stuff like that. And the idea of moving something heavy with your hands.
What documentary did you see? Because
What is
I would like to
Do you
watch
not
it.
understand what I mean?
I understand what you mean. This is what you're talking about doesn't exist. It was like a fever dream or something. no one's ever done that.
Someone has done that. You just because it's floating on water, you have the ability to move tons of weight.
I'm
And
sure
it'd be
it
the same with no gravity. You could probably tug a satellite down.
What does that do with rope? I don't know.
Why?
But it's
Are you like? I don't understand the point he's getting. Are you saying that like if you pull the rope long enough, you can pull the moon down?
A long
Or you're
time
saying-
I'm saying
ago.
you probably could figure out a way to do that.
a long time ago, there was a picture on the website of Gavin underneath a pile of chairs.
That's true.
This is why.
So I looked it up. The Earth, the rotation is slowing down, and it will slow down by 0.35 hours over the next 85 million years.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
So it's not a second every 18 months.
It's
that sounds more right.
a second every 18 months.
Yeah,
Well, what was
It's
it?
a couple minutes a day.
that sounds more right.
Well,
yeah.
A second every 18 months.
I like where your brain is going. I like all of this stuff you're thinking about because it's cool, but we don't need to tie rope to anything.
Yeah,
That's
well,
just
we also
silly.
didn't need to send blood out into space.
A second every 18 months is a minute every 90 years. It would slow down.
Well,
a full minute.
that could easily be
That's
the
too
case.
much. No, that's way too fast.
No, not geological. That means the Earth's going to stop moving altogether in
In 1,000 years.
like 1,000 years.
Well,
a little more than that.
If
but
it
yeah.
was like through time, the slowdown would slow down as well, wouldn't it? But
Oh
whatever.
God! Stop trying to save
Don't.
yourself. Stop
Just
trying
don't.
to save yourself.
Can you imagine Gavin like playing chess, like
very-
thinking 2 spaces ahead? Like
I'm very
I'm
genuinely.
Okay,
he just moves the king.
This is
but,
what I'm
like,
dealing
I'll
with
win.
though. I don't sleep very easily, so I just think about
You
things
just lay down and
when
ponder
I'm
these
lying in
things.
bed. And these
I
are
would
my
argue
thoughts.
you don't think about things. That would be my argument that I would put out there.
I'm genuinely concerned now about the audio levels. Is this a problem for the viewer? Is this bad?
When you sit back and listen to
Because
Tark,
I think it's funny
when you sit back,
when everyone screams at the top of their lungs.
I think
That's
it's,
the greatest thing ever.
If it happens just once or twice.
But
Yeah,
now,
it can't be constant screaming.
it can't be after every statement. You're overanalyzing it. You're overanalyzing
Do you have any more
it.
beer?
I sometimes okay.
Let me get out of here.
We have to talk about.
Bye, Ray.
Thanks for
Byron.
having me, sirs.
Get the hell out.
Bye.
Oof, that was a loud bump.
Man, there's a fun cricket out there.
There's a cricket out there.
He's
You can
been-
hear everything.
He's been there since the weekend.
You can hear the earth slowing.
Didn't kill it.
So yeah, the podcast set. It finally got put together.
You made a comment the other day
Uh-oh.
because you're a tech guy.
Uh-huh.
And you said in your very tech guy way, you said, on our brand new Isilon storage unit, I think it was the Isilon, it was some sort of hardware thing that I'm not fully aware of. You said, a big red light turned on, and we don't know what the fuck that means. And I thought that was awesome. What was it on? Was it Isilon?
How did we go from the podcast set to
I'm going to
this?
tie it all together.
The red light.
Wasn't that on the web server?
Was it?
It was on the web server. Yeah, it was on one of the web
But
servers.
you didn't know what it meant.
Right.
And it's never gone on before.
Right.
Kind of creepy.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we should have a big red light attached to the podcast set.
What, just to like when we're all yelling too loud?
When we're recording or what?
when we all start screaming.
It's like a cool down light where everyone just has to be quiet.
So we spent this weekend. We spent building the podcast set out there in the annex, and it was fun.
Backlot.
It took. Brandon actually has time lapse footage of us doing it.
That was a very cool time lapse.
Yeah,
It looked like
it was too short though. He set the time base too slow, probably because the Earth is slowing down.
what was the intervals between pictures?
Oh man, I don't know. I think he said he did like once every 10 seconds, and he wished he'd done once every 5.
I'd have done 2.
You know, time lapse is a stupid thing though because
You can speed it up.
yeah, you can always make it faster, but you can't add in frames.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like when I do slow motion and people don't know what frame rate to shoot. It's like just shoot really fast and you can speed it up if you want.
You can. Right. You mean slow it down?
As in, like if you don't want it to be as slow as we shoot it, you can
Right.
speed it up.
Right. You can always remove frames.
Yes,
you can't
exactly.
add frames.
And it's the same with time lapse. You should take too many as opposed to not enough. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's like whenever, like you were talking about your slow motion, but that's just a general rule of thumb for slow motion at all. Like when you do, one thing that you do in your videos for slow mo guys, Gavin, is that you will go into slow motion. Like you will do a long recording,
Yes.
and then you'll do a slap on Dan, and the slap will suddenly go into super slow.
Yeah.
You've recorded that entire thing in slow motion, and then
Yeah.
just sped it up to normal
And you
speed.
also do that incredible thing where you insert frames of penises in there. When no one's seeing them.
it's interesting.
That's the
But the
guy
actual-
part of slow mo guys.
Our first video we did was like a maybe 20-second dialogue, and then all of a sudden I slapped him, and I had to record that at like 600 frames or something. But that was like a 40-minute file that I had to speed up to become like a minute long or whatever.
Is it hard to get it right, just perfectly right for real time, or is that just like you said in the 30 frames a second you're done?
I can work it out from the frame rate I shot. I can slow it down a specific percentage. To
so you
match-
know, like
match-
if you shot 600 frames a second, you got to like increase the speed 20
yeah, because
times.
I know I'm gonna
to get it down to 30
I know I'm gonna play back at 25 frames.
or 25.
So I'm English.
Man, when Matt and I worked on our movie with Joel in college, and we shot it on film, it wasn't like standard. There was a float just from film being analog, and so we had to figure out just how much slower than 24 frames a second this particular camera was. Like, it's 98.95%
Oh, well,
of...
I never thought about that.
I just realized the idea of physically moving film. We're old as shit.
Yeah.
That's like Thomas Edison.
Yeah, they don't even have film projectors in movie theaters anymore, dude. I mean, it's all digital now.
So wait, it wasn't 24 frames.
Well, it was probably as close as they could get it, but it's a motor.
It's a mechanical.
Oh, right.
Right.
So, like, wear and tear would probably change over
I
time.
mean, if you have an analog watch, you have to adjust it every now and then because it's off by like a second.
Yeah. The camera adds a second every 18 months.
Yeah, exactly right. And
I love all our full circle conversations. Everything comes back round.
For us, the problem was that, I mean, this is old school filmmaking. We recorded the sound separately from the image, so then we had to sync it all up. That's why when you see movies and they do that slate,
The clapper,
the
yeah.
clapper, yeah, that's so you can sync the sound, which only video cameras take care of now. We still do it, it's good film practice for if we sync multiple cameras or use different audio from different sources.
You can software sync waveforms now, can't you? So you don't actually need to.
Yeah, there's some software that'll do that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like what we had was so the time base of the audio was different than the time base of the video. So you get it synced at the beginning, and it would slowly drift over the course of the scene. Yeah, if you had a longer shot, it would do that.
We had that problem for a while when we first got our 5D, remember? Because it recorded at 48 kilohertz instead of 44, and it took us a while to figure out what was going on. It would start fine and then just drift, and it'd be off.
That happens sometimes on the projects.
Yeah.
You and I work on in with things because we shoot in slow motion and the sound effects don't quite match, and so you have to
You can't.
It's a big pain.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, we used to have to, do the slate when we did the old video podcast because we were recording on multiple cameras and recording on a separate audio device and having to sync all that shit up.
I love all these like very specific situations we get ourselves into though, where like probably no one else would have the same problem. Like I'm constantly annoyed by the fact that in Final Cut I can't speed anything up by more than 10,000%. I'm like, damn it! But no one else would ever do
So
it.
do you have to speed it up by 10,000% and then speed it up again?
I have to speed up 10,000%,
and export it?
and then speed that one up.
Bring it back in.
You can't speed it up 10,000%, then nest that sequence into another sequence, and then respeed it up.
That might work.
You know what? I can tell that you can do that, but that's a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah,
you
but
run into issues.
It's easier than exporting and then
I
re-importing.
don't know that that's true because it depends on stuff.
No,
and
very technical.
it's just a big pain in the ass.
Half the audience like, what is Final Cut?
Final what?
I'm with them.
Just so the audience is on the same page, the process of nesting is just a big pain in the ass.
Nesting's awesome.
No, it's not because
No, it's
everything's
okay,
one big
yes.
blob and you
No.
can't see all the. We should change the subject.
We should change the subject.
Did any of you see the Avengers last week?
I haven't seen it yet.
Before we talk about this, we're not going to talk about any
We're
spoilers.
not going to
so
spoil. I haven't seen it,
don't anybody panic. I haven't
but
seen
I
it
heard
either.
it's really good.
So it's a common thing, though, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything here. It's a common thing that in Avengers movies like Iron Man and Thor, they have a little scene at the end of the credits.
Okay, yes.
That's not an unheard of thing. I'm not spoiling anything here.
No,
So
this is good. We should talk about this.
there is one of those in the Avengers movie. There's a button scene.
But
I won't tell you what it is.
We should talk about. We're not going to talk about the content of it.
No.
because I don't even know what it is.
I
But
don't
we
know.
should talk
I don't
about
either.
what else is going on with that.
So, oh really? Okay, well, what else? But we were talking about digital projectors in movie theaters now.
Uh-huh.
They can now deliver prints to movie theaters so quickly. Supposedly, they shot that scene the week before the movie.
No,
Yes.
that's crazy.
Like, between the European release, which... Why the fuck did Avengers come out in Europe?
Not just
first?
Europe, the rest of the world.
Makes more money, yeah. Makes more money that way.
Why?
Why?
They were talking about it on Bloomberg, but I wasn't
The
listening.
rest of the world got it a week before.
Why
the
don't they
United
put it out
States
everywhere at
did.
the same time? How does it make more money to have it delayed on the U.S.?
What did I move here for?
What? Exactly.
Which is funny because it used to be the reverse for
I know.
whatever reason.
I
It used to be
remember
United
I
States
spent a
and-
long time
yeah.
here, and I saw Coraline here. And
World
then,
is-
6 months later, it came out in England. I was
World
like,
is
oh,
changing. World
Yeah.
is changing. Timeline.
I've never heard of a movie coming out, a major U.S. release coming out in other countries first.
You know, it's funny. In 2008, when we were in the big recession or whatever, Disney went out and bought Marvel for $4 billion.
Oh, they did?
That was 2009.
They bought 2009. They bought Marvel for $4 billion. They've already made up that money on just this movie.
They made $4 billion.
Well, they made like in the first week they've made almost $1 billion, over $1 billion.
Really? I haven't
That's a
looked
quarter.
at. I haven't
I mean-
looked at the worldwide box office gross.
A couple of days ago, it was like almost 700,000.
I mean, it's just that was a brilliant play on their part.
I just want to say Robert Downey Jr. is hot. I mean,
He's
they got a
cute.
photo of the guy. They got a photo of the guy here. That's a good-looking dude.
From what I understand, they have I haven't seen it. They have sort of a flashy credit sequence, and then they have a button, and then they have another credit sequence,
and then
there's another button,
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah.
They really want you to stay in there for a long
and then you go home and you turn on your TV,
Get the
another
final
button.
one. Yeah, I
Which is pretty impressive. They downloaded it to your TV, they shot it that day, and
shot
then
it
they
on the
just
way
tuned it to your
Then you have the
TV.
last one when you go to sleep.
they use your name. They're like, "Hello, Gus. Welcome. This is
You're
your."
in the scene, which is like, oh my god, I'm in the scene.
Dude, we're joking about this. This will happen. This will happen one day.
This is going to happen. Yeah,
So,
it's going to be
give it
like
200
what
years, we'll be
role
done.
do you want to play in the movie? Like, I'm going to be Thor, and then they shoot your face onto the main characters. Like, I'm Thor.
This will happen.
This will happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do this with the Rooster Teeth.
I don't understand
production.
Thor. I always thought that universe, because I'm not a comic guy. I like the idea of Iron Man because he wasn't a super dude. He was just a rich dude who made a super suit. Right?
It goes against
And then he has
the canon.
You know,
Great.
the thing in his chest. Oh, is that against the canon?
Well, I think so. Yeah, and especially the way he does a reveal, where it's like, I'm not supposed to tell you who I am. I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's great. It goes against the canon.
Okay.
We love that.
Well, anyway, and then all of a sudden in the same universe, there's Thor. What the hell is Thor? I haven't seen that movie.
He's
Is
a
he-
Norse god.
He's a god.
He's a Norse god, yeah.
So you've got rich dude with no powers. God.
It's a comic book movie.
A god.
It's funny because all of it becomes from like the 30s, right?
Is he a god or a demigod?
I think he's a demigod.
It's, I mean, on the scale of regular people and gods, it doesn't matter. He's a god.
true.
He lives in, the afterworld.
And then you've got a guy with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, with bow and arrow. Exactly. That's what everyone thinks.
And then you have Scarlett Johansson, who
Has
Cat's
a gun.
she's hot.
Catsuit.
And
powers
Does she have superpowers? Or
Nope. She's basically like
So
the
why are they
female
on the
version of
team?
Nick Fury, who's for some reason not on the team.
All you need
Batman.
then.
He's not on the team?
No, Nick Fury's
What's,
like the
it,
leader.
what's his power? Eye patch?
Yeah, yes. He in interviews he said he doesn't have powers, but deep down he's a Jedi, so he can fuck everybody up anyway. So this is really interesting. Robert Downey Jr. makes this is from IGN.com. Robert Downey Jr. makes a lot of off-the-cuff remarks when doing press, but his latest comment got everyone wondering if he was kidding or not. At Wednesday's press conference for Marvel's The Avengers, the Iron Man star said they were going to shoot one last scene that night, which was the night of the film's premiere. On a Wednesday night, director Joss Whedon said Downey was kidding, while Marvel Studios honcho and Avengers producer Kevin Feige is said to have looked visibly irritated by Downey saying that. So Downey was just joking, right? Not according to his co-star Hulk actor Mark Ruffalo, who confirmed the shoot for the website The Playlist. Yeah, we're shooting a scene tonight. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go. All I know is that someone came in with the costume and said, "Here's some wardrobe. We don't know where you're going to be or what you're going to be doing." So they shot that scene on Wednesday and then got it out to theaters.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So why
But
is no one...
so wait. Were they able to get it to all theaters or only theaters with digital projection?
They're not making prints and shipping prints at that time. Yeah.
So if you get a diminished experience now, or if you go to
different-
see
a different
it,
experience.
Yeah,
Well, they do, just download
no
it.
diminished. You are missing content.
Well, what if the content is bad?
Good point.
He makes a good point.
That's true, but I mean, still overall, you're missing content.
Gus, it is quite possible that they just didn't make prints of the Avengers. That it's not showing in theaters that have projectors.
Interesting.
It's possible.
obviously didn't
when
matter.
you think about their distribution, I would doubt that that's the case. Just so
Right.
the numbers are turning in, and the amount of exposure they put
Yeah,
$100 million in marketing on that movie.
Oh, God.
$100 million.
They made
Oh, it
$200 million
I
opening
mean,
weekend.
you could make a movie. You could make
yeah.
20 movies for $100 million.
Wow.
So
Well-
why has no one ever done this? I think I was talking to Michael about this. Why has no one ever shot a movie and then secretly shot the sequel at the same time, but only ever talked about the first movie?
Well,
so say the
because
Avengers
of
came
money.
out.
because they
Okay,
did
well, say it was budgeted though. Say
If it was
Avengers
budgeted.
came out as it did,
It seems
and
like-
then this weekend they were just like, "Oh, by the way, Avengers 2 this
Well,
weekend."
that-
Bam!
I
It was
was
like
like-
a second movie, and
would
everyone would
be-
be like,
Well,
"What?"
because they want to eat into the profits of the first movie,
Right.
Right.
And they want to extend that tail, and then they
Right.
got to have a proper marketing push,
Right.
a plan in place to promote the
Right.
second movie when it
You'd
comes
be
out.
robbing your own money.
That's what I said.
you would be losing.
I
money
see what
doing
Gavin's saying as far as it'd be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Like, yeah,
Imagine
the movie
it.
came out of nowhere, but it would be fucking stupid. They'd
Right.
like, lose so much money.
they lose
Just
money.
like, hey, guess what? This movie's out. Oh, nobody went and saw it. 'cause
Yeah, but
no one knew it was
everyone would go
coming
and
out.
see
Well,
it.
no, they
Look
wouldn't.
how many people saw the first one.
They would, but you'd still eat into the problem because people they make a lot of their money because people repeat and see the same one
So you do
over and over and
back-to-back
over again. And
shows.
then they sell the DVD and then the
Plus,
marketing. You're
it
eating
also
all that.
it also makes sense in this case because it's a huge opening. But what if it wasn't a huge opening? What if it had flopped?
Yeah, then they got another movie and they're fucked.
It's like, hey, we got this piece of crap.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's film all three avatars back to back to back.
But
Did they do that?
No, I'm just saying they're fucking awful.
I mean, it's funny because if there is an era where maybe you can pull that off, it seems like now because it's now you like look at Lord of the Rings and if you have a name big
Didn't
enough,
Back to the
I-
Future 2 and 3 come out in the same summer?
That was they
there
came out the
have
same
been-
year. That was the first movie I ever heard where they filmed both sequels at the same time.
Yeah, they did that with The Matrix.
The Matrix is the only other one I've ever heard like that.
They
what?
film a lot
there's
of
just a handful.
they filmed a lot of Lord of the Rings at the same time as well.
They did it.
As long as it's one
divvied
big
up.
package,
Yeah.
like they put it
Yeah.
together as one.
They did Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates
too
as
that
well.
way. 2,
Did they-
3.
is that what they did?
And when I said Avatar, I meant Airbender, the last Airbender.
Oh.
That
I
piece of
knew
shit.
that you meant that.
You know, it's funny.
I thought you were.
Because I watched the show first before the James Cameron movie. So the show, everyone's called Avatar.
Did you like Airbender?
The movie's a piece of shit. The cartoon show is fantastic.
Is that
But-
the one where the same game gives you 1,000 points?
Yeah, in like 2 seconds. Yeah. But everyone thinks of the James Cameron Avatar when you say it now.
Avatar Less Airbender is. I have never seen a single episode of it. The cartoon series, or hopefully I'm not insulting anyone by saying cartoon. Everyone I know who's seen it says it's amazing. That story-wise, just as a story, that it's freaking amazing.
That's
And
great.
so eventually I'm gonna have to watch this thing.
Is it a dude who bends air?
It's one of them.
Well, they're all like elemental, right? Like
Yeah.
some fire people, some
Yeah,
water people.
there's-
He's the last air guy.
I see.
He's also the Avatar. The Avatar is the one person that can control all four. He can do Earth.
So why does he
fire,
restrict himself in his
water,
title
and
to the
wind.
Airbender?
Well, no,
he went to the air philosophy or
because
the air.
every time an
concentration.
Avatar dies, a new one is reborn in a different he's an
School?
Airbender. There's like different nations and different like elements as part as controls the country and stuff. So he's born as a fire bender, and then when he dies, he's reborn as an earth
Gotcha.
and a water, and there's a
So
certain
how-
cycle. But in between when the last Avatar died, he was going to be reborn as the Airbender. The Fire Nation wiped out all the Airbenders because they wanted to kill the Avatar.
Except for one.
He blah 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 ended up being the last.
I
one,
see.
yeah.
So how did the ponies work into this?
Well, that's a whole. You got to watch the show. There's a crossover in season 3.
You know, Carrie's crazy about Adventure Time. I have not seen Adventure
That's
Time.
also-
I-
What the hell is that?
I have watched some of it. Joel, you would like it. You would like it.
Do they talk over each other?
He's so upset by that.
No,
Isn't
I'm
he?
not. Bruce sent me.
He's made like 6 fat jokes in this podcast. And if you say fucking anything to Joel, he goes into his shell and pitches a fucking fit every time.
All right, listen.
God damn it.
God damn it, you're fat. No. Listen. You sent the video. You sent the video earlier this week. We were aiming about the girls talking over each other.
I loved it.
They talk over each other in that video, don't they?
It's very funny.
It's very funny because they talk over each other.
They also talk like this, like you and I are talking now. They don't talk They don't do that. That's a little different. When you're listening to a podcast and all of a sudden everybody's screaming at the top of their lungs,
Things got real in here.
it's a little different.
He's got real stupid.
I'm gonna try to find this one clip of Adventure Time that I know. I'll show Joel this, and he will go, "I love this thing."
He was at
Adventure Time's good.
Carrie went to
you should check it out.
art
Was it on
gallery,
Cartoon
right?
Network?
Yeah.
Carrie went to an art gallery and bought Adventure Time art.
Yes.
That's very exciting.
Well, so what the... God, I can't talk now. Was this like a traveling art show, or was it like a one-time thing? Do you know?
I don't know. It was in Austin, but it was kind of she.
Really?
You know, it was kind of she.
How did Carrie get in?
I know, right?
What does that mean?
Fancy.
Very foo-foo,
Oh,
very
very-
LA. Very
Come on, you don't speak Joel?
I don't understand some of those terms. Gavin didn't understand something I said earlier, but there was another term, muckety mucks, which I thought was an insult, and it's not. Muckety mucks means high finance people, the muckety mucks in Hollywood are
It doesn't.
actually.
Yeah, it sounds kind of derogatory.
It
doesn't
does.
Did you know? I read the other day that the word Nimrod was the context of that word was changed because of Bugs Bunny. That Nimrod, he would refer to Elmer Fudd as a Nimrod in the cartoons.
Right.
Nimrod was actually a biblical hunter with great prowess. So he was calling Elmer Fudd Nimrod sarcastically. But no one knew the reference, so they just assumed Nimrod was a synonym for idiot. So
funny.
now the word Nimrod means an idiot because of Bugs Bunny.
Well, it's like whenever they change a word because it's offensive, like spastic, because that was the name of the society. It was a spastic society, wasn't it? And then that became offensive, so they couldn't. I mean, they couldn't call them that because it was just used so derogatory. They had to change the name.
Nimrod was a villain in an old Marvel comic called Rom the Space Knight. Do you remember
God.
this?
What?
Remember Rom the Space
No,
Knight?
I don't.
Yeah, this is there's always these eras of Marvel's heroes, like Black Panther from the 70s. He was an Avenger. The Avengers, they rotated their cast.
How many Avengers were
Black.
There's only 6 at one time.
there? Right.
And actually, the most popular Avenger, the guy that I associate with the Avengers, he's never discussed in any of the Avengers movies.
Because if there was more than 6, they would all shoot their powers off at the same time, and no one would be able to understand what they were saying.
So it's just too much.
Who was
Six,
it?
seven is just too much.
What's the Avenger you associate with? That's never...
He's an android. His name is Vision, and he was only in the Avengers comics. He was never had his own comic. Maybe he had a mini series or something. But he's this robot, and he can turn transparent, and he can also walk through walls. So
He's got a cloak or something.
yeah, and he was married to the Scarlet Witch.
A robot was married?
Android.
Andrew
Gus.
was married.
Yeah.
It was the future, you know.
It's a very tolerant
Marriage
society
was
in the
legal.
comic book.
Fucking vague comic book heroes where it's like, what?
Yeah, I'll show you pictures of the Vision. You might recognize the Vision.
And they're all created during, like, it's like the 30s where it's like, they didn't know anything in the
Vision,
30s.
Avengers.
So it's like,
Was Captain America a huge character?
Yeah.
how does Captain America resonate with people in other countries?
Dude, I was at Pinewood a few years ago. I walked through the set of Captain America. I had no idea what I was looking at.
Didn't Captain America do great box office overseas?
I think it
I
did.
don't know.
It
It's,
was-
it's funny
I think it
because it's like,
did.
I'm in Australia. It's like you have all these people dressed up as Captain America. It's like, don't you know we suck?
I have no idea.
You know
I'm
who
looking at a
Vision?
picture of Vision. I know I don't recognize him.
Really interesting. Okay. What about Moon Knight? Do you know who Moon Knight is?
No, I'm not a comic book guy though,
Ah,
so
interesting. Okay.
that's why Rom the Space Knight just sounds ridiculous to me.
Did you know? Did you know at one point there was a West Coast Avengers? Did you know that? Yeah.
They were franchising.
They did. Yeah, they made a West Coast Avengers. They were.
Were they all like the Silver Surfer?
No, it was Wonder,
Chill out, dude.
Wonder Man and Tigra, and I think Hawkeye.
Tiger? Wait, Tiger from the Thundercats?
I don't think so.
Tigra is the guy. Tigra is a female in the Marvel universe.
They actually-
She's a tiger woman.
They secretly shot the West Coast movie at the same time as this one.
It'll come out 4
out
days
on
later.
Friday.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to show Joel a scene from Adventure Time, and we'll see if we can hook Joel in Adventure Time right now.
And Mrs. Cow, take that bag off your udder. You're a beautiful girl. You live in the forest, so why don't you just let it hang out? Yo, put that bag back on.
That's it. That's that one scene. I think Joel will now watch Adventure Time from beginning to end based on that one scene. That would be
Joel's just sat
He looks
back.
traumatized.
He's got his hands on his face.
The best part is, like, I watched the show. I haven't seen that episode, so I couldn't see the screen. I just heard the audio. I have no idea.
Is that the
think
guy
it's
from
place.
Futurama?
Joel has a very funny, goofy sense of humor, and I think Adventure Time fits into it perfectly. I think you would like Adventure Time.
I'm not.
You watch Archer? People always tell us to watch Archer. They always tell me to, and I just haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
I have not seen it yet either.
And
People love that show.
That'll be one of those shows that I watch like a year from now, and I'll tell people who told me this show's great. You gotta see it.
Be like you and-
You won't like it.
Archer?
What
Nah.
is
You're
people's obsessions with telling someone about something?
You want to share it. You want to have something common to talk about.
I don't really.
You want to be an authority.
I just find that the more people
Yeah.
who get me to try and watch something, the less I want to watch it.
See,
and I
it-
just feel like I'd be doing the same to someone else. It's like, oh, you've got to watch.
People want to be tastemakers.
With me, yeah,
Why?
I feel like
What's the attraction?
Don't know.
when people tell me about stuff, my opinion is always influenced by what I think about that person. Like
Really?
Like
the first
Jack.
the first few people who told me about It's Always Sunny seem like huge douchebags to me. so I
that's-
still won't watch it, even though people I know and respect now tell me to watch It's Always Sunny. The
I
first
had-
3 people were douchebags.
I had the exact same experience, and it's absolutely true, and it colors you to the point where, like, the first 3 or 4 episodes, I was like, "This is shit. This is shit. This is shit." And then it's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
you were
this is
like-
okay. This is okay." This is
You were
okay,
trying
this
to
is
convince
funny."
yourself that it was bad.
Well, no, it's like that T-shirt that we made. I hate all the bands you like. Mm-hmm. Absolutely true. Like, I knew a girl, hated her. She liked the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I hate the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah. I hate the things that you enjoy.
It's a terrible balance.
I think I heard that Breaking Bad's coming back this summer, the new season.
Have you seen that? People go crazy for that show.
Yeah, Bernie finally jumped on the bandwagon for
I
that
did.
one.
It's one of those shows that I watched all 4 seasons, like wham, right in a row. And so
That and The Wire. I hear.
I started watching The Wire finally,
Dude,
based
I-
on your
Is it
continued recommendations. I've only seen like the first 4 episodes of the first season. It's a very slow starter, but it's really starting to pick up.
I
it's
heard,
a slow
like-
burn.
Yeah.
It is.
I heard
really
between
wanna watch that.
seasons they really kill you.
It's different. It's different because the second season is totally different than the
Oh,
first
yeah?
season. Yeah, like you're like Stringer Bell and Anton was saying.
Yeah, the guy who's running all the
everything
projects.
in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same case or something else.
Yeah, I also wasn't expecting it to be a long, overarching story. I thought it was going to be individual episodes, but it I was really thrown when they're going for the long story over the season.
It's a great show.
Do they actually have like individual stories per episode?
I mean,
Or
there's
is it
little
just-
arcs, yeah, and little vignettes, but it's really about the overall story.
I don't know if you'll like it because it's not your genre, Joel, that you like. But a show that I kept hearing about, I was like, I'm going to watch a show, and I watched it during season 1. Game of Thrones is so
I hear good things about that, too,
fucking
yeah.
good. And we have the Blu-rays
Yeah,
here.
I keep looking for them because I haven't
There you
seen
go.
it, and I know we have the Blu-ray. I got to get them from whoever has them because everyone talks about it so much.
I have them.
Give them.
Shut up.
Do you know why we have them? The Game of Thrones Blu-rays here.
Why do we have them?
We have them because we're doing package testing for the Red versus Blue Decade set, which is going to be, I think, 14 discs.
Did we just announce that for the first time?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. So we're working on it. So it'll be the first 10 seasons, like a full decade of Red vs.
It
Blue.
should come
which
in
is-
like a mahogany stained box with a bottle of rum.
You know, I have to admit, I am not a big fan of those ultra collector's editions that have
it's overwhelming content. Like if you have a
No, the content I'm okay with.
Yeah.
It's the boxes I'm talking
Same here.
about.
The physical boxes.
I want to throw them away.
Have you seen
I
The
saved-
Walking Dead collector's edition?
No.
Keep talking.
I saved my Lost
Let me
box
ask you
set,
this.
and the Lost box set was cool because the box set had like puzzles built into it. I owned it for a couple weeks.
didn't it hide a disc from you? Or
Yeah, before I realized that there was like a hidden compartment. You
That's
could like
so
rotate
cool.
a map
That's
and like
cool.
pull it off, and there was another hidden bonus disc in there.
That's
That
awesome.
is really.
And there
cool.
was a map that and you had a black light, and you had to use the black light to look at the map to see more stuff.
Wow.
I just showed Joel the Walking Dead complete second season Blu-ray collector's edition box set.
That's over the top.
That's what it is.
Wow,
Holy
they can
shit.
put that in a store shelf.
Who
Why
has
would
the
you-
space for that?
Why would you want that on your shelf? It's a zombie head, like a bust of a zombie with a screwdriver jabbed in its eye.
I was going to ask us. I was going to say, have you saved the boxes to your Apple products?
No,
Oh, really?
no.
I had like the
I've got every
boxes to all
single
mine.
one.
I hate when you get the collector's edition and you get the box because it's like you paid for it, you want to keep it, but you want to fucking throw it away. Like I keep it out of
Yeah.
guilt.
Throw
I
it
keep
away.
that shit.
I
normally-
throw it all away.
I normally won't have sex with you.
So I normally throw everything away. Like when Gus and I used to go buy video games at the same time, we used to take breaks from the job we had together. We'd go
And you
get
would do
video
it
games.
immediately, right? As
I
soon
would
as you
take-
walked out the door.
I would do it in the parking lot. I would throw away the boxes in the parking lot. Just take the disc with me.
In the trash can. You weren't throwing it on the
No,
ground.
yeah, like, fuck everybody. No, I would throw it away in a trash can outside the place because I hate stuff. I just want the disc. I just want the
Yeah.
content.
I wait till I get home, but as soon as I get home, I throw all that. I make sure that there's no redemption codes now is a big deal. Like
Oh,
I need to make
true.
sure I don't throw anything away. I need to access the online functionality.
Like
and
a
I throw it
hidden
all
disc
away.
in the Lost
There
box.
is no doubt about it. You hit a point in your life where you're like, I've got to get rid of crap.
Yeah.
I don't want stuff.
You've hit that point. I've hit that point. You've hit that
God,
point.
I've hit
Michael
that point.
and Gavin.
I've hit that
Have
point.
you hit that point?
Oh, I'm just at the point where I need stuff.
Seriously,
No, it's the thing where you're just like, well, I'm going to collect stuff. I'm going to collect stuff. I'm going to collect stuff, and then you're going to hit a
Yes.
point where it's just like, get rid of it.
I'm well aware I'm going to do it, but I still have to go through the process.
packing up my stuff to move to America was like a godsend. I was like,
That's
I've
the
got
thing.
23 years worth of crap. Buy crap.
See you stuff. Beat it.
I did that too, but I didn't move from another country, so my parents constantly call me and they're like, "Take your shit," and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, I gotta
Well,
go."
that,
See
I
ya."
can
Yeah,
tell
my-
you that's going to go on for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with you there as far as like I've left 24 years worth of shit behind.
It's
I'm
sort
just
of like, Mom,
at this point, it's like, yeah,
Dad,
I don't want that shit anymore.
Listen, you're a storage unit now.
Yes, they haven't
You have
realized
to
it
accept
yet,
your role.
but-
Yeah,
So-
my mother has a storage unit with a lot of my old shit. She's like, "Are you ever going to come get this?" I'm like, "No, just throw it away. I don't want my old T-shirt." She's like, "Oh, you have some stuff." Like, I don't care. Anything that's there is dead to me because I don't know it exists. Right? It's like out of my mind,
Although-
so I'm not going to miss it.
Although I feel like sometimes if you come across something that's been like 20 years old and you haven't seen it, you come across it, sometimes it's just like, oh, wow.
Yeah, but I don't want to experience that.
it's
gone.
kind of interesting. It's like smelling fresh cut grass in the spring or
but
something. It accesses
there-
parts of
there
your
was-
brain where you're like,
That's true, but then you have to deal with the physical aspect. Like the emotional aspect is cool, but then you have to deal with the physical aspect of having this shit.
Well, you get that 5 minutes, you're like, oh, wow, and you throw it away.
Can I
There
throw
was a-
something in here that's hard to throw away? Sorry, Gavin, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Go for it, buddy.
So we ran into this at the back lot. We were cleaning out the warehouse, cleaning our storage units that we have for props and things, and we were organizing our props. And I put this on Twitter, but we had some of the most disturbing quotes I've ever heard at this company said casually while we're organizing all of our props. Like somebody holds something up and they go, "What about this?" And somebody else says, "Dude, we have way better Nazi flags than that one. Get rid of it." I was like, what? And somebody said, like, we had a huge box of pornography, and someone goes, "Is it legal to throw out this much porn? Can we get in trouble for this?"
No, you gotta put it out in the empty lot. You gotta recycle. You gotta make some forced porn.
You gotta put it in the woods?
Yeah, for some kids to find.
That's
Why is this a common experience?
Oh my god! Oh my god! It all makes sense. It's like Easter. It's like when you're older, you just have to get rid of your porn and hide it somewhere so someone younger can find it.
Yeah.
I saw.
Oh my god!
I saw
the
this.
circle is complete.
Here's the thing. What about this generation? Because we don't have any magazines and shit.
We'll
Do we
throw
go through
Blu-rays.
DVDs?
Yeah, we'll throw
throw
Blu-rays
Blu-rays in the
down.
woods?
Thumb drives.
Also, you fuckers don't go out in the forest or anything.
That's true. Yeah, but then again, the kids don't go out in the forest either.
so true.
How the hell are we gonna? We'll just start like going door to doors, putting like flash drives in
I
people's
saw this
mailboxes.
discussion on Reddit where it's like, why is this a common phenomenon? Like, why do we all know about forest porn? why is this a recurring thing where kids all discover porn in the woods? Like, who is leaving this porn in the woods, and why is it widespread?
I think we need a holiday.
We need like a patron saint of hiding porn in woods.
We all get a day off. We go out into the woods. look
America
for
is a
porn.
strange place.
Do you not have?
What was your first experience with pornography, Gavin? But before we get to that, hold that thought. You think about that. So let me pose this question to you.
Okay.
How do you throw away a Bible? Can you throw away a Bible? If I say, Joel or Gus, we don't want this Bible anymore, throw it away. Could you just toss it in
You
the tank?
changed it to your name because
Yeah.
you knew it would be easy.
You would have no problem.
I don't
Leave
know.
it in a hotel.
Would you throw away a Bible if I hand you a Bible and said we don't need this anymore?
I think so. Yeah.
I really could. We
I would-
were there yesterday. I couldn't do it.
I would leave it in a drawer of a hotel where all the other Bibles are.
So I just looked up how do you dispose of a Bible.
It's funny.
Could you throw away an American flag? Joel?
That'd be harder.
Really? That would be harder.
That would be harder.
I could toss away an American flag, no problem.
I'll throw it away.
What's the deal with the?
America, motherfucker.
Yeah, but it's a flag.
that.
It's a
America.
fabric. It becomes sacred because it's
You're
patterned
not
in a certain.
allowed. All right, no, I'm just kidding.
Joel's also from a
Someone
military
was-
family. I'm from a
Like someone
historically
said-
more religious family.
Someone said, like, if an American flag touches the ground, you have to burn it.
That's true.
What a waste of money. Keep the flag.
America.
The same guy who
Keep
wanted
the
to be able
flag.
to make a rope. That's not a waste of money at all. We can make it out of American flag.
What do you
but
think-
American
Rope out of
flags are
American-
real.
We can make the American flag out of porn, American flags, and Bibles.
Yeah, but
Hide them in the woods.
that wouldn't be cool. The rope thing is still cool to Gavin.
It's a good point, Michael. Thank you for being
Hey,
on my
American
side.
flag's always cool.
It's a cool looking flag.
I also informed Gavin that you have to take an American flag down every night. That people come out and take it down. It's somebody's job to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is all like really old. Like, when will that not happen? Like, it's tradition, but it's
We talked
forced
about
tradition.
when you got back from England. We talked about the fact that you have like a fucking queen walking around your country going blah blah blah. It's like rise up, take
good
your
for
shit.
Yeah, I can't believe you're
Rise
giving
up.
us shit about tradition.
Dude, people come and see the Queen. It funds us. Tourism.
Tourism.
It funds us.
So we think of America as being a pretty young country because remember we were in Amsterdam and we were standing on a bridge that we realized is older
Than America.
than the discovery of America. It was like the bridge was built like 1350. But it's one of the oldest standing governments. So it's like kind of
Yeah.
an old, stodgy country, actually.
First parliament was
It's, U.S. seems like a young country, but it's
to
really
look at
not,
something
government-wise.
To look at something from like a pure efficiency point, like a Monty point of view, putting a flag up and down every night all over the country seems kind of like a waste of
Do you
resources.
really want a
Everything-
government
No,
based on Monty?
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I'm
But
with
dude,
you. I'm with you. I agree with you.
It's
that's a lot.
leave
That's
it.
a lot of work.
Leave
Yeah,
it.
but
It's
everything
fine.
isn't about pure efficiency, Gavin.
I think it should be now. We're past the point of like people do stuff because they don't quite understand the way the world works. We know how the world works now. Spins.
Yeah, so people
Slows down, gets bigger, it increases by 8 seconds every week.
choose to do that. That's what I'm
But
saying.
you don't have to do these old traditions.
Yeah,
anymore.
but people don't necessarily do it because they have to. It's because they want
But
to.
why would you want to keep that alive?
No, I think I generally agree with you, and
Yeah.
I think that we're definitely headed towards that. Right? We're definitely headed.
I
Towards
would
that.
hope so.
I-
that we don't like.
The internet makes all that possible. Like everything speeds up. Like just honestly, the rise of atheism. It seems like eventually the world would tend towards atheism over time.
either atheism or agnosticness.
Sure, like as the further away we get from biblical times, it's
Sure.
like nothing else is happening. Eventually, it's like
Well,
I'm to
people,
the point-
because of technology and advancements, people feel like they're in control of everything. They don't feel like there's this mystic unknown force
Right.
anymore.
Right.
True.
And it's a lot more faith-based instead of explanation-based.
does it not seem like that has sped up dramatically in our lifetime?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just like, and I'm
Totally
not saying
different.
one is preferable to the other, but it just seems like it has sped up.
It's changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's changed. It's no question.
And also, I mean, the concept of like governments and all that stuff and like war, the internet's changing that as well. You know, my wife is a hardcore Republican. She's a very conservative person, and she's like she talks about like socialism and everything associated with, you know, you vote somebody into office and suddenly we're more socialist, or we get health care and suddenly we're more socialist. The
Not that
internet
easy.
makes everyone socialist. I mean, everyone wants everything on the internet to be free. They want access to everything, you know, and it's like the thing of like you have to contribute or you don't contribute. It's just like kind of up to you, you know. The internet has changed more people's mindset than anything
So
else.
is it like a subversive socialist plot to push their agenda through technology?
No, it's just it's a side effect.
A side effect,
yeah.
byproduct.
I don't have a conspiracy theory behind it or anything like that. It's just like it's a global thing that
Sorry.
everybody contributes.
That's
to.
where I go. Conspiracy immediately.
Yeah.
As soon-
Okay.
So, what do you think is the preferred way to get rid of a Bible? Because I just looked it up.
Recycle.
I didn't think there was one. I thought you could just throw it away.
Donate it to the church.
Donate it is one, and I guess that's recycling the same thing. But if you want to get rid of a Bible, if you want to dispose of it, how do you dispose of an American flag?
You burn it, right?
Burn it, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
what I was sure you burn an American flag?
Cut it in small pieces.
It's
So what if like a regular household just has an American flag? They have to somehow burn it? Where do you go to do that?
Aren't you
Your
only?
fireplace.
It's funny
Chuck
too,
it on the
because,
fire. What
like
if you have a fire?
nowadays, if you took your flag out and burned it, you probably get in trouble.
Are you?
The
You'd be
fire marshal
sniped.
would come.
But when other people burn our flags, we get really pissed. It's so weird. Maybe they're just disposing
Maybe
of it
it's off the
properly.
ground.
It's like someone dropped it on the way to this
They're showing great respect by
Are
doing
Gay
you-
America convention.
Aren't you only supposed to burn it when it's like damaged or like you can't just take it down and I mean
No,
you
I
can,
mean,
but
theoretically,
you just
if
take
it
it down and
touches
burn
the
it.
ground, you're supposed to burn it.
Okay, but I'm saying like if you want to like retire your flag, it's not just like I'm
Also-
taking it down now and then you burn it.
Is this true, by the way? Is
What?
it just an urban legend that you have to burn it?
I'm gonna look it up.
Snopes.
But
You don't have to do shit.
I think you used to. I don't think you have to anymore.
I mean, was it a law at
This
any
is
point?
like the rules of the Geneva Convention. They're just sort of weird rules. No one lives by them. But that's
this is going to
theory.
infuriate Gavin. Do you know how you're supposed to get rid of a Bible?
No.
You're supposed to bury it.
Come on! Who has time to bury a book? If you don't want the Bible, at least hollow it out to keep a gun in it or something.
You can keep forest porn in it.
Bible
Too far. Too
All right,
far.
let's see. Proper disposal of the American flag. Did Joel leave in anger or in...
I think he drank too many beers. I think he needs to take
Yeah,
a bathroom break.
Yeah.
How to dispose of a damaged American flag?
See, damaged.
Yeah. The United States Flag Code states the flag, when it is in such a condition that it is no longer a fitting emblem of display, should be destroyed in a dignified way, preferably by burning.
Dignified.
Find a safe location away from any buildings or tree. Clear away any flammable debris. Build a fire, such as a campfire or bonfire. It's so elaborate. Cut the field out of the flag. Separate the stars and stripes.
Really?
Place the flag on top of the fire with the field on top of the rest of the flag, which should be respectfully folded and watch to be sure that it's burned safely and
How-
completely.
I don't know where to start on all of
Here's
that.
what you do if you're
How many
not
people-
committed. Don't buy a flag.
How many people have accidentally burned down their home because of a flag? Probably quite high, knowing America. I once read about a guy who was trying to put a hole in his wall to hang a TV on it, so he used a shotgun and blasted his wife, who was getting the mail out of the mailbox outside.
What?
The shot,
that
he
can't be
shot
true.
through the wall,
No.
killed his wife because he was trying to hang a TV. That's the kind of thing that happens in America.
Listen, it happens everywhere. One of my favorite stories ever, even though it's horribly tragic, is the dude in Turkey who's getting married.
Oh, God.
And they fired off AK-47s, and the groom killed the bride's father and 8 of his relatives. 'cause
Jesus.
He lost control of the AK-47.
Holy fuck!
AK-47
So I guess
wedding.
when you lose control of a gun, the first reaction is to keep squeezing.
Well, you're in shock. You're trying to control it, so you tense up. Yeah, and you keep
Holy
firing.
crap!
All right, I got my numbers wrong. I feel like I could clarify here. A Turkish bridegroom actually killed 3 of his relatives and the father of the bride as he celebrated his wedding. Oh my god, it's so terrible,
Yeah,
dude.
I bet.
That is not-
I bet he did not get laid on his honeymoon.
Yeah, that
I'm
is-
gonna go up.
That is
on a
not a
limb
way
here.
to get good with your in-laws.
8 other people were injured.
He got laid at the funeral.
God.
Too soon. Too soon.
That's
I
terrible.
wonder if anyone's ever been killed by a bullet falling back to Earth.
Yeah.
It's happened.
It has happened?
Yeah.
I have heard
They
of that.
sort of tumble. They don't come as fast, but they will still kill you. They won't like go into your brain.
I've seen them also. I haven't seen them firsthand, but I've seen pictures of them like re-entering and coming through someone's roof and like into the room
Yeah.
where they are.
Joel, Christy Brinkley is 58 years old. How does she look this good? Joel just returned, by the way. Look at her.
God, that's amazing. That's
That's what I love about UK news. I got to a UK news site about a Turkish wedding.
Was it The
where
Sun?
A dude, no, it's the Mail. UK Mail.
Daily
online.
Mail?
Daily Mail.
Yeah.
And I went right from an article about somebody getting shot at a wedding by accident to.
I think
Christy Brinkley.
legally in the UK you cannot run a website that's more than 2 clicks away from boobs.
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't have the equivalent of page 3 of the Sun in America? do you?
No.
No, that doesn't exist. Where the naked girl in your
Yeah.
news.
Clearly, we need it.
You know, that's one of the traditions of England. I absolutely.
It becomes damaged. You have to burn it.
See, now we're on the
We're competing.
Joel, you missed the discussion. You don't just burn a flag. You have to build a bonfire, and you have to cut the field of stars out and lay that on top of the rest of the flag to burn it. That is elaborate.
Wow.
People were bored.
That's back when they had no time.
People didn't have the internet and TV.
That was it.
It's like they talk about the Mayans and how they figured out like star calendars and blah, blah. That's because they had nothing else to fucking do.
Yeah,
But we
what's
all
on the
benefit.
2012 We're All Gonna Die thing? We're halfway through 2012.
Oh crap! I forgot that's this year.
yeah, it's this year.
Are you concerned?
Is it December 23rd?
21st, I think.
21st.
Do you think everyone is secretly a little bit worried?
No.
No.
You literally don't
Well,
give
no,
a
no,
damn.
no. I mean, some people are thinking. I mean, it's like 2000. Like every.
The thing that was weird to me was the solar flares that haven't happened for a while, or was it sunspots or something that just
Sunspots went away.
Or is that like a cycle, or did they just go?
I don't know, dude.
It's supposedly cyclical.
Maybe we should
I'm pretty sure.
tether that thing up and go.
Shut up. Is it
We should lasso some sunspots back around to our side.
I would
You know.
love to see Gavin lasso the moon.
is it me or did people give a shit less about it? It seems like a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, people were like 2012, like way more.
Well, then
Now,
they
like,
saw
no one
that
gives
Well,
a
movie.
because
shit
there was a
about it.
movie to promote.
Yeah, and then
I suppose.
everyone saw
Michael,
that.
I know a guy that quit his job and was spending his savings because he was convinced it was going to happen.
But when?
Seriously,
2012.
that was like
when?
in 2010. I know a guy.
Right,
who did
and
that.
what is he doing now? And I was like,
I don't know.
He's in the bunker.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
It's just like, I haven't heard that in forever.
We are on schedule to have the euro implode by December 21st. So
That
it's
is very
like the
likely.
euro.
the euro's going to implode. Really?
So, Joel, you're a money man. Is it good that my country didn't switch to the euro, or is it bad?
It's great.
Is it?
Yeah, you've got troubles.
Excellent.
You've got troubles.
I heard
but
it was a double dip recession over there in the UK, so we do have troubles.
It's you have troubles, but it's not going to be nearly as bad for you guys.
All of our good news has evaporated recently. We were having some good news.
We never had any good news. I mean, it was all ISM numbers and CPI and all that stuff. It was
Yeah.
all we're all leveraging up back in the wrong direction. We're like everyone's running bigger lines of credit. That's not good. We want to pay down our credit.
Do you know what I'm annoyed about?
You don't want to solve a credit problem by taking out more credit.
So are you still on the gold wagon? Like buy gold?
I'm still on the gold wagon.
It's dipped a bit.
It's dipped a bit. It has. It's I pulled out. I have a. Okay. I have to
Here
show
we
you.
go.
Joel has
This
to
is
get
it.
We got to keep it brief. We're going to be wrapping up soon after this financial portion of the podcast.
I'm very proud of this. Do you know what that is?
a screenshot.
That's a screenshot. And it's very good.
This is Joel's dollar cost averaging of his Apple stock is what it looks like, right?
928.07, buying Apple at 141, and then the economic, I bought more, 178, 177.
These are prices of Apple
Then
stock.
it crashes in 2008. I bought more at 107.
Yeah.
So what's the lesson here, right? Apple at 107, now it's 600.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Same thing with gold. Doesn't matter. Long-term investment.
So you have to go through a few dips.
I like that it went down that significantly, and you just like doubled down.
Yeah,
You're
well,
like,
it's
down.
one of
Fuck
those
it.
things. It's definitely the gut check is when there's a huge and massive drop off like there was in 2008. There are people who will sit there and say this is a buying opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
While
that's the
everyone else
thing.
saying the world is
You
doing
have to understand to the point where you have conviction.
Yeah, you
if you
also-
do not have conviction and it starts to go down, you'll freak
Also-
out and you'll sell.
An important thing to remember is you don't lose money till you pull out. That money is
Yeah.
gone. You're in the market.
Yeah.
So
It's the same thing though too. It's like, but you got to admit, in 2008, there were a lot of people saying that the model might now be not the same. That it's what we all traditionally saw as being valuable. Stocks are gone. Like whether stocks are even valuable. Like the whole thing was in question in 2008. The whole system in general.
I mean, there's so many variables.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Back then, the Fed was like, had short-term interest rates to a point where they could move them down. And when they can move them down, that's going to be good for the market. Well, now we're at zero.
Can they
can't
make
move down
them
anymore.
negative?
Well, they'd like to. I mean, it is kind of negative in a way because it's like, again, if you've got your money in a savings account, you're losing 2% every quarter.
Joel has been very steady on this for a long period of time. I mean, this goes back like 4 or 5 years now.
I'm committed.
And Joel has even
Right.
like backed off of other things. Like I don't know if you know this or not. Joel is like he's done with Vegas. I think. I don't think Joel's going back to Vegas.
Well, let's not get crazy.
The last couple of times he's been
not
like,
be rash.
"Fuck this place." And I noticed that
We should
your
go.
wallpaper for your desktop is a
It's still
blackjack card.
I found a great app for that, by the way.
Yeah?
So, yeah, I don't know the name of it. but
I think I use that same one. It's for it gives you
counting?
yeah,
Yeah.
these are the plus numbers and minus
Yeah.
decks.
let
Good.
me.
I still can't do it like you can. I don't know. He's like a computer. I don't know how he does it.
You can do it. You just have to.
All right.
Anyone can do it.
Nobody
I've been
does.
trying to get. You can do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
We can
I
all
practiced.
do it.
I just
Just
want to
have
ask
practice.
one more thing because
So, this is it.
I only talk to John on the podcast. We've had these are all our conversations. As someone who's moved from the UK, I've got no credit rating. Like I do
Oh,
credit
really?
in the UK, but it doesn't carry over to here.
Have you
How-
checked the 3 credit
No
agencies?
They said
But
when
they
I went
doesn't-
with him when he went to get his phone, and they said that he had no credit.
So I had to pay
Weird.
like $500 deposit. Anyway, how do you build credit the fastest?
Well, I don't even know the amount of variables.
take- you
It's like
take
you have
on
to get
debt.
a credit card and take on debt, and there's a amount of variables.
How do I get a credit card?
But he can't get one because he has no credit.
Yeah.
You can get a
Get a
secured
really
credit
shitty
card.
one.
So you put up $300, and then you have $300 limit on the card, and then you build it up slowly over time, and then you get an actual credit card. I helped someone I know get out of just awful debt. Awful debt.
So good advice for anyone looking to make credit. All right,
Yeah.
well, we got to wrap up.
Where are we going to go eat lunch today?
Hey, did we?
I don't know. What'd you say? Did you say there was a steak place around here?
Hey, let's talk for just a moment about RTX, because we're
Oh, yeah.
lining up like lots of guests for RTX as well. Because you're working on the exhibition side, but I've been working pretty hard on the panel/celebrity guest side.
Yeah, we just announced a lot of them the other day.
I think we announced Daily Grace Helbig
Yes.
is coming, and Hannah Hart.
She's awesome.
She's awesome. If you've never seen Daily Grace before, you should definitely
very
watch
talented.
that. Also, My Drunk Kitchen. Hannah Hart. Do you ever watch My Drunk Kitchen?
I
Love it.
haven't, but I'm going to watch.
Hilarious.
She
Watch her
is
MRE
great.
one.
The
I met her
title-
for the first time. She is great.
When we went out to LA?
Yes.
Yeah. Live Prude Girls, who we've talked about on this podcast. How can we not invite them?
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mega 64.
Mega 64 is
Are they
coming.
going to hold a panel?
They're going to be in the main theater after us.
They should hold a panel where they just have a couch and then they pull people from the audience, make them sit in between them, and then just pepper them with insults.
It's hard. They can really hammer you when they want to. And then I think
C Nanners.
yeah, C Nanners is coming, and I'll even say his name right because I always say C Nanners, and I get
I would say Sean Nanners for some reason.
Sean Anner. And then I Justine, I think, is coming as well. So we're trying to work all that stuff out. And then we have more people coming, so we'll do a more complete list later. But you guys should definitely come to RTX in Austin, Texas.
You can check it out at rtxevent.com.
We may have a drunk panel.
Maybe.
Rooster Teeth guys will have 2 panels. And so I was writing the description for those panels. And the idea is that half the people will come to one, and then the next day, the other half of the people will come to our second panel.
What, the same panel?
It's just 3 guys or 5 guys on it, so yeah, it's just our panel. It's Q&A. But
thought
then
it
I
might be-
realized there's no way we can tell people not to come to the second day, so we're going to figure something out there.
I was thinking it might be fun to have like a acting panel where you distribute sides out to the people and then maybe pull people on stage and have like an acting panel.
Well, we
I
have
don't know. We'll see.
We have an
if people want it.
We have an educational tract, which
that's
is
good
like
too.
how we do what we do here. And there is a voice actors panel, which is essentially the entire cast of the freelancers.
That's good.
Yeah, so they talk about how they got jobs in voice acting.
That's pretty
Great.
cool.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
What's
so
it-
check it out. Buy a ticket if you haven't.
It's a big question we get asked. It's like, how do I get a job at Rooster Teeth? But really what people are asking is, how do I get a cool job? Like, how do I get a job online, or how do I get a job working with video games? So we have, in the educational tract, we have how we do what we do. And then there's even ones like how people got their jobs at Rooster Teeth. And then there's alternate careers in media. Like there's one like Aaron LeMay, who helped design Saints Row. He's coming and talk about as an art director. He's going to do portfolio reviews, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Mhm.
Yeah, that's really cool. So we're going to have a lot of stuff like
See,
that.
those are great, awesome, legitimate panels.
It's a whole
Those
separate
are
room.
those are good. Yeah,
What
It's a
panels
whole
are you
separate
gonna
any
be
panel
at?
I was talking about was going to be a not legitimate panel.
What illegitimate
Just
panels are you talking about?
illegitimate. That's a good word. Illegitimate.
Okay.
Illegitimate voice acting with Joel.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Where are we going to lunch? Seriously.
Let's go to that steak place. You were talking about a steak place the
How
other
long?
day.
How long have we been on
Hey,
doing this?
do we ever
165
introduce ourselves
episodes?
to-
No. I mean this episode.
5 years, right, guys?
An hour and 40 minutes.
5 decades.
Okay, well, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Love you.